In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing your
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Paz and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things. It's called Best Gen because we're all roughly from the same generation. And we happen to think that it's the best, not because we as people are better than you, but because our entertainment was. So strap on in, lean on back, and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore, while simultaneously complaining and whining and screaming in regard to the this Indiana Jones 5.
Oh, come on.
Hollywood sucks now. That's the whole point. That's the point of the show. Things used to be good. Now they're not. We've got a lot to cover tonight. We got a bunch of new viewers coming over from the Angry Mex's channel because he's blowing up right now. Congratulations on 8K subscribers. I had a
Woo!
There you go.
Wow.
You can get one of those. So thanks for coming to the show. We do this every Sunday night, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we've got Indiana Jones 5, which most of us saw, and we've got Secret Boys, Marvel's guys that changed their faces, episode 2, and that it's been a bad week. It's been a horrible week. There's nothing good to talk about.
Well, we're talking about Matt Johnson too, right?
If you guys finally did your homework, we can finally talk about Matt Johnson.
Well, we did it last week, but we never got to it. So we
Okay. So that we've got some good to counteract the bad. We'll talk a little bit about the Matt Johnson movies at the end. If you guys still haven't seen those, I also got a couple recommendations to offset the utter filth. Shout out to Mark Clark, our channel member in the chat. We love seeing you here, and he says he's going to start doing shots every time Mex is eating on stream. So
It's dangerous.
You're gonna get drunk, bro.
Yeah, we had Pasole last time. What is it this time, Maxa?
Just plain yogurt,
Oh,
no
there you
sugar, without sugar.
if you want to become a channel member, it's just 99 cents, and you get access to emojis, and that's about it. I try to make it as cheap as possible, but it's a lot of fun. And we thank Mark Clark for being a member for like 6-7 months now, I think, is what you're at.
Wow.
It's not showing up. It shows up on the anniversary, but it's not showing up right now.
Yo, my gringos, my mexos. Mountain Dew, Vibinate, Tello, thank you for being here, guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming over to the stream. It's gonna be a journey. I did not have a good time in the theater, but it was worth it because I got to go with Jared, who's back in Utah, baby, so I can see my bestie again. Do we want to just get right into it? Let's just rip off the Band-Aid and talk about Indiana Jones 5.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We were going to do it yesterday, but I stopped up, guys. You should thank me because I stopped Tex-Mex and David about it yesterday so that we could talk about it today.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's plenty to talk about.
Well,
I didn't pay to watch it.
that was my fault because I did question.
None of us actually paid to watch it. I wasn't planning on seeing it, but our realtor bought out the theater and gave a bunch of free tickets away. So I'm gonna make fun of it for free. Gadfly Fiction's in the chat as well, just stopping by to say hi. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Make that video about the Iliad and the Odyssey. I'll probably watch it because I'm a nerd. Yeah, Indiana Jones 5. Okay. Didn't pay for it. I still felt like I wasted money.
It wasn't that bad. I thought it was pretty good, actually.
I don't understand that.
Okay, here's the thing. So it's the last Indiana Jones, right?
Doesn't count.
Okay, but how old is Harrison Ford?
1 million.
He's 1 million, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we really expect Harrison Ford to be doing the same stuff that the old Indiana Jones did?
No.
Then why?
So we gotta retire him, right? We gotta make sure he goes off well.
Or The Last Crusade did fine. So why do you need to bring him back? just to embarrass him?
Yeah, the problem was though that they already messed that one up by doing the Crystal Skulls movie. So
yeah,
that being the last video would have been ridiculous.
That one's better than this one. That one's miles better. Like kilometers. Like
I'm not going to lie.
Kilometers better.
Watching Indiana Jones 5 made me nostalgic for Indiana Jones 4. I am unironically.
I finished watching 5 and then I watched 4 and I was like palate cleanser, like getting the taste of shit out of my mouth with. Sorry.
I'm going to rewatch 4. But
do so.
My kid has been watching the originals, and so I got home.
You're going to appreciate it.
And that night they watched Temple of Doom, and no joke, just the one scene from that movie, just the minecart chase scene, got me so excited, and was executed so miles better than anything from Indiana Jones 5.
I will admit that those ones are really good, and it's hard to beat that because they are very good movies. And I will definitely say that that's true. But I won't say that these were horrible movies because it was not a horrible movie. Like, I still watched it and I was like, this feels like an Indiana Jones. Like, it still felt like an Indiana Jones where he was going through, he used his whip to try to, they had a little bit of CGI. I think the biggest thing for a lot of people was the CGI. They did a lot of CGI, which is true.
It was really not good. Bad. It was bad CGI.
So bad.
Look, I don't care about CGI, right? But it was obviously CGI.
There were definitely some obvious parts, but they had some good parts too. In fact, to quote you, the first part of the movie, you leaned over and you're like, "Wow, that's actually really good looking."
Okay, when they showed young de-aged Indiana Jones, I did lean over, and I saw his face, and I said, "Wow, that actually looks good. You can't tell that it's CGI." And then he started moving, and I was like, "Okay."
It was 1 second, like 1 second of good CGI.
The first shot, honestly, I was like, "Wow, wait, they're actually doing a really good job with this." And then he started talking, and I could see like his neck clipping in and out.
It wasn't horrible though.
The
It was
CGI was worse than the Flash. Yeah,
but
but
the entire like the
that's,
first like 30 minutes of the movie, like
not same.
that
Much
entire sequence of him stealing the stuff and getting hanged, and then motorcycle and train chase thing, it was garbage. It looked so bad.
that scene.
There were parts
But
that
that scene got me like ranting for half an hour in front of my freaking microphone, man. The
Which
scene
one?
with the guy getting hit in the head with the fly on mail.
Yeah. How he wasn't killed instantly makes no sense. How is he alive?
How was he not
on the
scarred
train,
or like
he
bent?
He was on a
or-
high-speed train and got hit in the face.
He got
not just the head,
hereditary on the head.
directly in the face.
Yeah.
With
he
the
also
male-
survived an atomic bomb in a fridge.
Okay,
so,
okay.
I mean,
But he didn't even have a scar. Okay.
No, he had a scar. He had a scar. I saw
Where?
it. It was on his temple right here. It was pretty. It was
Okay,
like,
well, you know, Harrison Ford's little bottom lip scar is more pronounced than that, and they
Yeah.
explain that in the movie because he got hit with a whip. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
But and I will say too, like, you know, there was definitely a part where it showed Indiana Jones running on top of the train,
oh gosh,
and I was like,
When
oh,
he
that's really
jumps?
CGI. Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, like that's like that. So I will admit that yes, there were some rough spots with the CGI, but there were some good spots as well. But overall, I felt like it still was an Indiana Jones movie. Like they still paid tribute to, like they still brought a lot of the old characters back, but they didn't necessarily like.
You're a
Okay, no,
sinner.
that's okay.
Which
Why
is
is Saul in the movie?
Because he-
What function? No.
No, let me tell you what.
Nostalgia.
Tell me one thing he adds to the story.
Here it is.
It's
Let me tell you.
literally zero.
Bro, no, it's worse than zero. Okay, this is the most brain dead thing that I've seen in my life. Okay, listen to this. This is, and I have the fucking the freaking movie here. But I'm sorry. I have the movie right here. All right. So Sal comes out of nowhere with the taxi, right, and picks up Indy. And
Mhm.
the only thing that Indy wants to ask Saul is to take him to the airport, right? But instead of taking him to
He
the
could've
airport
used
directly
an
in the
Uber.
taxi, he takes him to his house, show him his family, and then Indy asks him to
and
go
then
to
says,
the
"Hey,
airport,
can I go on
go
the
to the
adventure
airport
with
to
you?"
buy a ticket," and then
He asks if he can participate in the adventure, and Indiana Jones says no. Do you know why that happened?
No,
It's
why-
obvious. It's obvious because they had no intention of putting Saul in the movie.
But he was in the movie.
No. The entire script was written. They realized it sucked and said, "Okay, how can we spice it up? We'll throw Saul in a cameo." Why doesn't he follow Indy for the rest of the movie?
He's got a family.
Yeah, we already wrote the script, so Indy, he's gonna say no.
and then he goes back to the taxi and takes him to the airport. That's all he does. And then he has a cameo at the
And
end.
he shows up at the end.
Yeah,
He
that's it.
adds absolutely nothing. The same with the girl, Miriam. She just shows up at the end to kiss him. Thank you, Mark Clark, for the $9. Hold on, I'll let you rebut in a second. Congrats to Demexa and his channel growth, well deserved. Now, David, when are we getting a new video? As soon as he gets a new job.
Yep.
And you want more videos with Firo? Yeah, that's the plan. The book talk was fun. We have 2 videos talking about Dune. I've been trying to do more book talks. I've been doing reviews by myself, and I'm trying to get more people on to talk about books. Not a lot of people watched it, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it because I'm reading books, so I'm gonna keep talking about them.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
I'm
of
trying to do
books,
another.
Brandon Sanderson
Yeah.
Secret Book 3 came out yesterday or something.
Yeah, and I'm planning on doing
yesterday.
another video with Firo specifically when he finishes the first Lot
Joe 8.
series. So
Don't get me started with
Nice.
the cars, bro. Don't get me started with the car chase. My God.
oh gosh, no,
The first chase,
mm.
the first chase is with the horse. And that CGI, like it's obviously that
Well,
wasn't in a horse, like so obvious that he was not in a horse.
But it
Why
felt
you
like
don't
Indiana
just make it?
Jones.
No, 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 no. Why just don't make it with a stunt man? And like they did
it
it in the
wasn't
past,
thrilling.
you know,
He
practical
went
effects,
down.
and that's it.
He got to see a train, and then he gave the horse to someone and said, "I'm bye bye." Like it just wasn't exciting.
I
Yo,
thought it was
and
exciting.
again, and no, 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 and again, how dare you, sinner, say that the fourth one is worse when in the fourth one, Indy actually is doing things, and he's not a senile man with CGI. No, he actually rides a motorcycle. He actually, goes around kicking
Yeah.
people, hitting people.
The
He doesn't
CGI was also a problem in 4 as well, though.
yeah,
Like a lot,
because
yeah.
there was like they were
But there
trying
were
to do,
stunts, yeah.
like crazy things that
Yeah,
created
like
things
swinging
like
from vines.
yeah.
Like Birdhead.
What did they try to do?
Yeah.
What did they try to do here? They tried to get an old man into a horse and a useless girl into a motorcycle. That's all they do with the CGI. In the other movie, the CGI is to eat people alive with the ants and things like that, and the waterfall
I don't.
and things like
Yeah,
that.
in
And
number
they
4,
go
the
crazy
CGI
with
was
it,
better. Yeah, they used the CGI to create the stuff that can't be done in real life.
Exactly.
And a lot of it did look really bad. Swinging on vines and the ants, they were
But it
silly.
was a
Okay,
20
this one
year old
they
movie,
used
like,
CGI to do
20-year-old
things
movie.
to just so that Harrison Ford could be
Yeah.
in the film.
Yeah,
I don't understand why this was made
and
at
it looks
all.
bad,
He
and
knows,
it
he's
looks
a billion.
bad, and it looks bad. So it's like the other movie. Okay, it looks bad, obviously, and it's dumb, obviously. Come on, it's still
liter-
Indiana.
Literally, the only time in the movie where I thought this looks good, like what I'm seeing on screen, was at the very end when they were going through the caves. Like,
Yeah.
that was the only part of the movie where it was like, okay, no, this looks real. This looks and it's designed well. It was good set
Yeah.
design. The rest of the movie was just every single scene was green screen. All of the action was super close up, shaking back and forth. You couldn't tell what was going on
Yeah, there was
because
a lot of
like
It was so boring as
the
well.
the blocking, the storyboarding, everything about these action scenes, they were just bland.
Yeah.
See,
But
I
now
think-
that we're talking about the action scenes, let's talk about the car scene, the car chasing, please, with the moto taxis. How do you call that in America?
The little teeny cars. We don't have them in America. so
Okay, we
don't
had the
have a
word
name for
moto
them.
taxi is pretty
Those things don't exist here.
We have a lot of them here in my
Yeah.
pueblo, and so I know what I'm talking about here. So first of all, the moto taxis they are beating Mercedes Benz in a chase for like 20 minutes.
No,
They are moving.
But look, the guy took off had a 10-minute head start,
moving
and then
faster
before they even
than
start,
a
be,
Mercedes
no, 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 no.
Benz. These are
before
motorcycles.
they even got in the car, okay. Well, he got in the car before they started driving. He looks over the window and he sees the car down the cliff, or it wasn't even a cliff. It was just an elevated road.
Yeah.
So the car had a 10-minute head start, and then they get in the car to go chase them. He looks down, and it's right there.
Yeah, I will admit that I was a little confused by that. I was like, well, he left a little bit sooner or earlier.
Okay,
but-
yeah. It doesn't matter. They go to the chasing, and for 20 minutes, this car are beating the Mercedes Benz in an endurance match, an acceleration match for 20 minutes, whatever. Okay. Okay, that's fine. No problem at all. Okay, let's say that's possible. Then the moto taxi falls down the stairs like for 20 to 30 stairs. In the moto taxi should have been destroyed. By the way, the freaking CGI there was like, I felt that I was watching like the Bullwinkle movie, like for real. My God.
And and do you know how much this movie cost?
Don't tell me, please. 250.
Oh, their reported budget is $300 million. I think this is the most expensive
One of the
movie I've
most-
ever
It's
seen.
one of the most expensive movies ever. Yeah, it's second to Avatar, obviously.
And
to
you
Avatar's
would not be able to tell. I'm
Yikes.
baffled at how badly they used it.
It has way more
It's just
CGI. I'm sorry, it has way more budget than MoMA.
and
Than
like
Multiverse of Madness. In
they-
Multiverse of Madness, look way better.
and you know
That
they
movie
didn't
looked better. Like that
they
movie
didn't
is
spend
really good.
they didn't spend money on star power. Like Harrison Ford's no one wants him in movies anymore. He's
Phoebe,
he's a corpse.
whatever her name is.
The only name they had in the movie was Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
So they didn't spend money on actors in this movie. It was all for CGI, and it's the worst. It's horrible.
they use the guy from Narcos as well.
The
guy
okay,
from
the
Mexico.
CGI in friggin' Pirates of the Caribbean is leagues better than this. And that was made what, like
Pirates of the Caribbean.
15 years ago?
Yeah, but it has a lot of makeup
Yeah.
as well. So props to the makeup team too.
Well, yeah, I think they definitely could have used more practical effects, which would have been better, obviously.
Again, yeah. Mhm.
But I think that overall, though, it still felt like a good Indiana Jones. And
Dragon.
I like. Here's the thing. Like, I get it. These are definitely things that are issues with this movie. And
20 years ago!
there are.
It's a 20-year-old movie! Curse of the Black Pearl came out in 2003!
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Look,
That, that feels
bro, repent your sins, man. Bro.
like. Dude, I still enjoyed it. No matter what.
I
you
mean,
guys
that's fine.
think, I
That's
still
fine.
enjoyed it.
That's fine. But you gotta watch the fourth one.
That I do need to go back and watch them. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll watch the fourth one though because I did not like that one at all. Like it was fine.
You gotta
until
watch
you got
that, bro.
to the end,
It's
and I was
just
like,
that
The fourth the fourth movie is bad.
it's bad.
But I need to rewatch it to get a refresher. I think let's all rewatch it, okay? But
I don't know if you can make me do
what
that.
from what I remember, honestly, the fourth movie has good stuff in it. Like I genuinely like Shia LaBeouf in the movie.
has a lot
I-
of action. It's like it goes from a lot of action. This
yeah,
movie
I-
has 3 different action scenes, and the rest is talking, and this guy being senile, and Phoebe being a dumb, an obnoxious
Well,
character.
okay, we can't start talking about Phoebe yet
Fight in
because
the library. There's a fight in the library. There's a fight in the
I'm sorry. What fight in the library?
where they're running. he's
Indiana
trying to
Jones.
get
Okay,
people and
okay,
then
okay.
throws the bookshelf
I'll sum up
over
the fight. Indiana Jones knocked over a couple bookcases and then got out the window. That was the
Okay.
fight in the library.
And Phoebe abandons the guy. Phoebe
She-
abandons him.
She
in front of-
locks the door.
I know because she's selfish and she was a bad character.
No.
I don't like her at all.
She left him to die.
Well, she didn't know they
and
were going to
the,
try
and
to
the
kill him or
enemies
anything like that.
and the enemies are like looking at him, and they're not moving. They are like waiting for him to move or something. They're like
They,
and the
they have
black-
guns trained on him from the
Oh my
beginning,
God.
and they let him walk around and then push things over, right?
Yeah, because he's an old man. They don't know what to expect, and they needed him because he's valuable. He has knowledge.
Joe, watch the fourth movie. Like, you know how in the fourth movie, they respected Indiana Jones. Like he was still an old man. He's 60 in the real life, and he's 60 something in the movie as well. And the way they respect Indiana, like all the I cannot say the name because the stream is going to get demon, but the White Devils, they just call it like that. They all surround Indy, and it's like 40 people pointing a gun at Indy, and it's like, okay,
German
they have the
guys.
respect. Yeah, they have the respect that is going to run away in any second that he gets, and in the first second that they give him, he runs away. And then the scene with the bomb, like that was a cool scene as a kid. Like, okay, give me it's dumb, whatever. This movie is completely brain dead, in completely affected in the brain. And
Dude,
and the other movie is like, okay, at least has some Indiana stuff in it. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Keeping
They
with the car
even
chase,
had
the car
They
chase,
even
the
had
car
the
chase.
scene where he used the whip, where everybody was pointing a gun at him. Literally, everyone was pointing
That's
a gun at him.
it was retarded.
And he
They
used
let
the whip.
they're pointing the guns at. They have 30 people pointing the gun at him, and he uses his whip, and
Well,
then
he does
he
first.
uses his whip.
Yeah.
They pull their guns on him, and then he has time to duck under the table, and instead of pointing their guns down, they just shoot straight.
Well, they only shot like once or twice.
Yeah.
They don't-
No.
No,
That is a lie.
that shot was in the trailer.
Yes.
That shot was in the trailer. They
Well-
unloaded their clips.
Regardless, it still was that then turned into a fight scene. So they shoot their guns at him, and then that turned into a fight scene where he's
Where you
hitting
can't
each
see
other.
anything. You can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, I get there's a little bit of that. I get that. But
I don't
you guys
call that a
talking about
fight
there's
scene.
No action, and there's several scenes.
No,
that are
there's
action.
no good action.
Well, that's
I didn't-
different. That's not what you were saying.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
but
I never said there's no action.
Compared to the other movie, there's no action. There's an action scene like every 30 minutes, and there's like 20 minutes of talking and walking and just looking at each other and saying dumb stuff that is historically incorrect, and
Yeah.
which
The
is still
the only
yeah.
time the movie came close to matching like the pacing of because if you go back and watch these movies, they have sequences that run into each other. Right, it's like a series of sequences where the action never stops. Right,
Yes.
in Temple of Doom, it goes from the girl's about to be sacrificed, right, and they fight here, and then she's getting lowered into the lava, so they have a huge set piece, and the action moves along like 4 or 5 different set pieces. It goes from there to voodoo, and they're fighting over there, and then they fight onto the but they fight onto the conveyor belt, and then from the conveyor belt they fight onto the mine carts, and then they chase through the mine carts, and then from the mine carts they climb the cliff, and then from the cliff they go to the frickin'
yogurt.
rope bridge, baby. Oh my gosh!
Exactly.
Oh my gosh!
The
The
fourth
rope
one,
bridge scene in Temple of Doom is so good, baby.
the fourth one has that pacing and that continuous action, and the
Yeah.
movie moves forward in a great
Yeah.
pace. And okay, it's dumb. Okay, I
yeah.
agree with that.
The only time
Flavorless,
this movie
without
did that,
sugar.
the only time this movie did that was at the very beginning in the de-age scene, pacing wise. But the problem was
I
it
was
was
gonna say the beginning.
executed so poorly that I didn't care.
Yeah, the guy died.
But the pacing
He's
was that was the best part of that opening scene, was that it did go through a couple different set pieces. It's just that they all sucked.
Everyone, listen to this, and this is I just saw the movie. Everyone in this movie perish after one single take. I cannot say the actual words, because family is
Yeah.
friendly. But everyone literally is one take, and they're like, and their soul is just like sent into the shadow realm or whatever in a second. And everyone, even people that get shot in whatever, they get taken in the gut, or in places that it would take you a long time and some struggle at least. And there's a scene, bro, where there's a lady lying down in her face because he just got taken.
Lying down in her blood.
Yeah, and then he appears all the way up, like 2 meters from the place where she was before, and I was like, bro, but there was no trace of blood.
Yeah, where
or
they show her
nothing.
go down is a completely
Yeah.
different place from where he finds the body,
Exactly.
and there's no trail, but she's lying
And I
in a
was saying,
puddle.
like, who
Yes.
moved her? Did she
Oh,
move?
yeah.
Also, why did they move her? Because they wouldn't need to hide the bodies because they were taking care of
Exactly.
everyone there.
Everything. Yeah.
Also, can we talk about the black lady's character, the CIA operative, she's not working for the Germans. She's working for the President of the United States. And she just lets these people game end
whatever. Yeah.
an
they do whatever.
entire office building. And she's like, oh, you guys are out of line. And then she keeps working for them. Also, as
That kind of
pointed out in the
okay.
chat,
But,
I saw it a while back and we breezed past it, so I couldn't bring it up. She is this is a movie that literally has Nazi characters in it, and yet her character is the only one that uses a racial slur in the movie.
Huh.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, she's horrible.
Well, but it was trying to put him in the time period, right? Because that was what
No, they tried to make her sympathetic.
and I will say that there was a little bit of that where I kind of felt like they were definitely kind of pushing that a little. Well, actually, no, I think I'm getting that confused with something else.
Her acting was, my God, like
It was
she
terrible.
was stereotypical. She was a token. She did nothing to the story. She added nothing to the story. I don't even remember when she disappeared from the story.
She didn't. Yeah, exactly. There was no reason she needed to
Tell
be
me, yeah,
in
tell
the
me,
story
tell me where she
other than
disappeared from the movie.
representation.
Yeah,
If she
tell me,
wasn't in the movie,
because you're going to take.
she was
Yeah,
just
you're going to
another
be hard.
goon. Like it didn't do anything. She didn't add
Yeah.
anything. It's just like Saul's character. Like,
I get that. Yeah, I agree.
So angry. Yeah, the thing with the
Oh.
taxi, the moto taxi, I'm not even done with that because the moto taxi falls 30 steps and then starts working again and starts running
Right.
again, which was
Yeah,
like
I didn't
he's
think that
like
was-
andale, andale, arriba, and the freaking moto taxi starts running again, and
look,
they run
I
away
don't,
in this moto taxis still.
I
And
don't
there's a scene,
mind.
bro.
I don't
There's a
mind
scene, bro.
using these guys as the bad guys.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
There's a scene, bro, where this Egyptian guy gets out and pulls out a Egyptian machete. I don't know what they're called,
Yeah.
the Egyptian knife, and
Yeah.
he's basically like, "Habibi, Habibi, Habama." And I was, why, man? Why? Even though that scene made no sense.
I want to
That was so
I want to
funny.
get back to tearing apart the plot, but first I want to just mention that I am so fed up with the character assassination of taking these beloved characters and then doing a movie where, hey, he's washed up and he's grumpy now and he hates everyone and he's not
Bro,
willing
they
to
show
do
us
the right
the
thing
guy
anymore.
in his
He freaking
underwear.
left his wife. Why? Not because he was selfish, but because his son died.
Well, I thought that the way that I read it is that she was leaving him, not that he was leaving her. You brought that up yesterday too, and I was like, it seemed to me like it was the other way
Okay.
around, like she was leaving him.
Okay,
And that's
because
how
he
the
because he
situation-
became a person who sits on the couch and watches TV,
yeah,
and he
but
pushed his
that's
wife
life.
away.
They
That's
showed
life,
us.
though.
Okay, but
He's
that's
mad,
not
dude.
what I want with my heroes.
But that's what I'm
Okay.
saying though. Is
Look, I get it. Okay, I know that some people would fall into a depressive state if that happened to their child. Okay, and that's not what heroes do.
But it's how they react, and that's the thing. He acted like that for a while, but that's the point of this movie.
To the
is
extent
he
that
will
his
overcome
wife
that.
leaves him.
That happened.
There
all
had
the
to have
time.
been a conversation before that point saying, hey, shape up or I'm going to leave. And he chooses to keep doing it. That is not a hero. That is not someone that you look up to.
They
But
give
that's
him
the
the
thing.
Luke Skywalker treatment.
Heroes.
It was
don't always
worse.
have to be heroes 100% of the time.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
they
the
didn't
Han
show
Solo
us-
treatment, too.
They didn't show us Luke Skywalker's man titties.
Look, if you want to do a grimdark story, that's okay. Go for it. But don't take my traditional heroes and try and do grimdark.
Yeah,
Okay.
or don't show them on their underwear at 80.
Look, I get that you could tell an intriguing
That was a
story.
sin, bro. That was a sin. Repent.
Underwear.
Repent.
Look, Jared, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Look, there are intriguing stories with flawed heroes, okay? I freaking love First Law, okay? The Blade, it's like that there are no good guys in that series, and you can still root for them, and they are flawed, and they make horrible mistakes. That's never been what Indiana Jones is, though.
I know, but Indiana Jones he's an older person now. He has,
And I
different ways
don't
of
like
dealing with
it.
All I'm saying is that's life. And sometimes we have to be more realistic
Okay.
with how the
Yeah.
heroes are
Yeah.
reacting.
It's Jared, it's not life, it's cinema.
No, it's life. There are so many people that,
Okay,
that have
if
something
you
like
want
that
to make a
happen.
movie about life, that's fine. Don't do that to my Indiana Jones movie.
No, but then here's the thing. Here's the thing too, is that through the film, that's what I liked about it, is that it showed him be able to overcome that and say, look, like this was something that has torn me
Bro,
up
he
over the
doesn't
last-
overcome anything. She makes all of the decisions for him.
Yeah,
He
and
doesn't.
sometimes
He
you have to
never
have
learns
somebody
a
to
lesson.
do it for you.
She teaches him a lesson.
Mhm.
Also,
That's right.
she never learns anything either.
Bro.
And
agree.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is literally the worst character I have ever seen on screen. Worse than Galadriel. Worse than the chick from Willow. His niece in the movie. The girl in the movie.
Yeah,
Phoebe
yeah.
Waller-Bridge.
Bro,
she is
she fence-plays
genuinely a
the hell.
horrible
Yeah.
human being.
She fence-plays the hell out of Indy every scene. Even in the end, when he's speaking Greek, she goes out of her way.
She
But
like corrects his Greek.
Oh,
that
my
didn't- that didn't-
God.
You know what's baffling though? Is she is the writer. Okay? She wrote herself into the movie.
Oh my God.
Okay, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was not attached to this movie from the beginning. They had a script and they brought her in to spice it up, just like she did to the Solo movie.
Oh
Okay,
my
they
God.
brought her in to spice it up, and what she does is write herself into the movie.
Mm.
And what she does with that, she doesn't make herself a good character. But you can tell in her mind, she thought she was writing a good character. She in the movie is one of the most despicable human beings I've ever seen. She manipulates her dying uncle to steal from him, leaves him for dead, is working for literal Nazis, and doesn't care.
Gaming.
She
So
doesn't care. She's
I've
doing
got a-
it for money.
So I've got a question. So I get that they wrote off Shia LaBeouf saying he died, whatever.
Oh, he died
So
in
he's-
Vietnam, off screen.
That was so
Off screen.
silly.
That's
They
That was so
showed
silly.
Harrison Ford reading a letter saying, "Sorry, your
Oh
son
my
died in
God,
game."
that was so
That
silly.
sucks.
In-game, yeah.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character is supposed to be his niece.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
God-
implying that-
No, goddaughter.
Okay,
Goddaughter.
as I'm like, he was Indiana Jones was an only child. He didn't
Yeah.
have a brother or
Mhm.
sister. He couldn't
I
have a
said
niece.
niece, I meant goddaughter.
yeah,
Unless it was from his wife.
no, it's goddaughter.
There you
Okay.
go. Teo like that one. It's not life. It's cinema. Yeah. Thank you.
No, but seriously, I think that that's why I'm saying that it wasn't as bad as you guys are painting a picture of it, because it looked like it was a different take on Indiana Jones. Yes,
Bro.
it was. But hold on, Alan. Hold on. Let me say this, okay? Because you keep saying that it's cinema and that life doesn't matter, but it does matter. And a lot of viewers are going to watch this and they are going to be able to relate because they're going through loss and they're going through different ways of doing that, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you need to see your heroes at those points to be
Not
able
Indiana Jones. No.
And Indiana Jones, yes, I was reading some of the comments. He was always the alpha, and he did overcome, his wife leaving him and stuff. But that
I
was
fully
the young
understand what you're saying.
Jones.
Look, you
When
can
you
make
get
good
older
stories.
and you have more experiences, and you start to realize, oh, okay, maybe this experience affects me differently
Right.
now in this phase of my life, right? Like you have to realize that some people adapt differently.
You
later.
think that I don't realize that? I do realize that.
And I
I
think that it's okay that Indiana Jones does
No.
that.
And that's
No,
where
that-
that's where I disagree.
See, the problem is you had this big, reuniting and redemption arc in the fourth one, and he reunites with his lost love,
Yeah.
from the first movie, and it's like, oh,
Mm.
that part of it was great, right?
Hola.
It was great seeing Marion again, and then
It's
just to have it all thrown away, like, oh yeah, that the new
One of the
new
few
character
good
is
parts
his
of the
son that
movie.
we introduced, he's dead, and they've broken up. It was the same thing with Han Solo and Leia in The Force Awakens. I was like, I didn't buy that he just left Leia and went on bounty hunting again, and somehow lost the Falcon, and it was just like this scumbag again. It was annoying,
Yeah.
And it's
so
the same thing they're doing with Marvel. All of the old
they're doing it
heroes,
with everything. Yes.
they suck. Like there's a way to pass the torch,
Mhm.
To the next
It's not,
generation.
it's not like we
without-
haven't seen this
disparaging.
done before. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That story is out there if you want it. And it's not a story that I want in Indiana Jones.
Like, for example, I am reading The Dark Knight Returns right now, the comics,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it is, man.
Oh no, you cut out.
Two-part animated series on HBO is actually really faithful to the comic series.
Got that in that stack back there.
That is an adaptation is done right. Like Batman is old. He's again is in his 60s. He can't do everything that he did before, but he saddles up and he gets it done, and his back hurts the whole time. But it's freaking awesome.
This movie.
No.
Yes, he did. He was driving those little mopeds through the thing.
No,
and then
he's not. He doesn't get to be the hero. In the end, he's trying to literally destroy history. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge has to punch him in the face and knock him out cold, drag his body onto the plane, and take him back into the future so he doesn't destroy the world.
Let's get into that scene.
You cannot tell me that this movie respects Indiana Jones or felt like an Indiana Jones movie or honored the character, sent him off in a blaze of glory. This movie insults Indiana Jones.
What would you have done if you got sent back to Agent Grease? If you were there and you
I would have been a freaking adult, okay? And this movie tries to pretend.
You are so delusional.
This movie tries to pretend that Phoebe Waller-Bridge has a character arc when she literally learns nothing and is never wrong, okay? She's literally willing to murder people in game for money, literally willing to cooperate with the German people of the less desirable affiliation for money, okay? And the only reason she quote unquote turns like at the end of the movie, she hasn't changed one bit. She's still in it for herself, and she is the one to make the altruistic sacrifice by punching Indiana Jones in the face.
Okay, let's talk about that scene for a minute there. Let's talk about that scene for a minute because it's just brain dead overall. Like,
I'm gonna stay.
First of all, Archimedes is there. Like, I don't know what Archimedes is doing there. All right, let's just say he's there.
So Archimedes, he built the thing to bring people back.
I know. I mean, why? What is he doing during the Athens and Roman? I mean, Roman and Athens war. Athens.
Yeah.
Athens.
Whatever. Yeah.
Athens. Yeah. Whatever. What is he doing there? I don't care. It's okay. But then he goes up to them, and they start speaking perfect Greek, ancient Greek, like mate. Like, I don't care how good are you in hieroglyphics or whatever. You're
we
not
don't
going
know
to be able.
Any of it was pronounced. Guess what? We are guessing how Greek is pronounced.
There's no way. All right, there's no way. Like, that's basic linguistics. Like, there's no way.
It's far easier to translate written language we can get and study, but the spoken language, a 2,000-year-old language, there's no way.
There's no way in hell. There's no way. Actually, in the Crystal Skull, Indy makes a quote like that saying, "There's no way you can be able to speak a 3,000-year-old language." He literally said that in the Crystal Skull when he's doing the whole Maya and the Peruvian whatever in Incan thing. He says that, and he's like, okay, that movie is way smarter than this one in just that aspect by itself. Just that aspect.
It makes sense. It makes sense because it's a dead language, and he just wanted to die,
bro. And then he says that he wants to stay, bro. He says that he wants to stay in before BC, 200 BC or 300 BC or the year, whatever the year is, bro. He was going to be seen logically in real life. He was going to be seen as the crazy person in town that will be like, oh, I'm coming for the future, and like he will be like the crazy man. He will get a stone and he will get a worse treatment than Plato. He will get Plato all over, that time.
Yeah,
even if he spoke like vernacular Greek or whatever he's speaking, modern Greek, he was saying, oh, el giro, oh, la ensalata, no? Ensalata Cesar. I don't know what the Greeks say.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, I'm eating Greek yogurt, so he's like, oh, the Greek yogurt.
That's hilarious.
Can we talk and just talk about the third act in general? How lazy was it? They travel back in time, meet Archimedes, and then leave. That was it. Like, okay, Mads Mikkelsen, great actor, and I thought the idea of his villain was good, and then he was boring for the entire movie. And when he finally he travels through time. And whoopsie, it's not what you thought. You didn't get to go to the place where you wanted to go. You wanted to go back to Germany and do World War II better. Okay, I don't think that's a bad idea. Okay, but whoopsie, he ends up in ancient Greece instead, and then he just turns into a joke. His goons start firing their pistols out of the window at the boats.
Bro,
What were they trying to accomplish? And then they just decide to crash the plane. They even says turn around and go back, and they say, no, the plane wouldn't be able to survive it.
No, it says,
you could try. Would you rather stay here forever or try and go back? What are your options? What are your options?
The plane was being pulled. They couldn't go back.
No. After they tried to turn around.
I have it right here. I have it right here.
No, and also
we are being pulled. They
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about after that.
They
already passed. When they already passed,
they tried to turn around and they couldn't turn around. They said we're being pulled in. They went through the wormhole, and then they're in ancient Greece, and they're like, oh, hey, this isn't where we wanted to go. And then the villain says, okay, turn around and go back into the hole. And the guy responds by saying, no, the plane wouldn't be able to make it.
This is what the loophole looks like.
Yes, I know. Why not try to go back rather than just do nothing? They literally that would make sense if they made a decision and tried to do something else, but they don't. They just do nothing.
No, but here's the thing: as soon as they come out of there, they get hit with one of those big harpoons. Like the plane gets hit, and they can't. And it takes out one of their engines.
So they just give up. Well, these are the villains.
No, but that
they
would
gave
cause
up before.
They gave up before, or whatever they need to be able to get back to that hole. Like that's why when it got hit, and then it got hit again with another harpoon. So they got hit multiple times with these big harpoons.
3 times, yes.
And then.
But it was only because they decided to stay around. They made it through the wormhole, and then just decided, I guess we'll stay here. And because they stayed here, they kept getting hit.
Well, that's because at that point they hadn't realized where they were until they got lower to the ground and they'd realized that they were in ancient Greek. And then they're like, "Oh shoot! Like we got to get out of here."
They could have.
One of the funniest things of the movie for me was that Indiana Jones used thoughts and logic to convince the bad guys to basically say, "Oh no, our plan is dumb. Let's go back." Like 1 minute before getting into the time wormhole. Yeah, he's like, but guys, you don't know where you're going
because like, continental drift, I guess.
He's like, go back,
that makes sense.
You did your math wrong, but he was wrong too. It wasn't. Oh gosh.
Let me get some water because this is a good one. I love it. I love this movie. I love it. I love this movie.
Here's the thing about
go
that.
Ahead.
Okay, so this is what my thoughts were. Is that literally, this is Indiana Jones, right? And he studied archaeology. He studied ancient Greece his whole life, right? So first off,
he studied
ancient Greek isn't dead because ancient Greek is. I mean, we still have a Greek individuals, right? And who have probably passed that language down. It may not be the same as the ancient Greek. I get that.
It may not. It isn't.
Is that it's Latin that is the dead language, first off, right? So yeah, we wouldn't be able to know that, yes, it's Latin that's being spoken to the Romans, per se, right? But Greek is a different story because we still have a lot of that being preserved as throughout the years, right? But secondly, I think what's interesting and why I really like this is, I mean, yes, there are some flaws to this ending, but for Indiana Jones, who has been studying architecture, not architecture, that's what I'm saying, archaeology and ancient Greek for so long, his whole life, and then gets a chance to go back and see these events take place. Like, I thought that was very sweet, where they're like, look, this is something that he actually gets to experience firsthand, something that he wanted to.
And they used it. I get that. And they used it as an excuse to see him groveling so they could make him look pathetic. Oh, no, I want to stay. Punch me. Punch me. Don't make me go back. There's nothing there for me. I mean,
how hard life would be back then.
Yes, it would have been very difficult.
How little would you accomplish?
So,
if you ever like, how little would you accomplish? They will kill you.
He was literally willing to abandon his wife.
He had already lost her. That's the thing. According to him, at that time, he had already lost her.
And I don't like it.
And how is she back?
I think that is a horrible way to portray your heroes. Willing to abandon their wives.
No, he wasn't abandoned. She had already abandoned him, and so he didn't have anything at that point.
Oh, come on. That's at that point he thought that he didn't have anything. And so that's why I'm like, and I think that is stupid. I think that taking your hero and making him grovel to the point where he refuses to make the obviously correct decision, so much that a little girl has to punch him in the face. I think that is how can you not say that's a character assassination?
Because
I didn't know that they jumped at the chance to just insult this character.
Let's talk about the punch. Let's talk about the punch for a second. He knocked him out like cold
for a week.
For a week.
He didn't until after he was operated on. So she dragged him through the time portal, took him to a doctor, did surgery, and then he woke up in bed at home.
Well, maybe they did the surgery
from her one punch.
1 minute before that, he got punched by the white devil guy. He got punched by that guy in the face. This guy was big and buff, so this guy know how to punch. You're telling me, and this girl doesn't know how to punch. They show her throwing an elbow in the middle of the movie. I almost cried. Like I almost weep right there. I was puking in my own shirt in the movie theater. He didn't even Indy is not even flinch when this guy hits him in the face. He's like, "Oh, I'm so badass," and this girl knocks him out of the bloom for a week through surgery.
I don't think it was for a week. You could do something like that.
Not for a week, but
and you
through
could do it
surgery and through all of that, you know.
They had that experience or whatnot.
Through the time portal, through flying.
If she actually hit him that hard that he was knocked out cold the whole time, he would likely be dead.
Yeah, he's an old man.
He
was shot just a minute.
Yeah, he was shot. Shot. But maybe he'd woken up sporadically between then.
Like, it showed his perspective.
Because he was still sort of like in and out. He's like, "Oh, where am I? Oh, no, where am I?" You know. All I'm saying is that I think you guys are trying to really destroy this like as much as you can, and there's
obviously
not quite as much.
Obviously.
Dude, okay, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
It was an okay movie.
She writes herself as this just insufferable human being who never learns a lesson, but then she gets to make the altruistic choice at the very end instead of the hero, and she also writes into the movie, making sure that every man on Earth flirts with her and finds her just like uncontrollably attractive.
She flirted.
Dude, there were literally 5 characters in the movie that winked at her.
Yeah.
No,
I was counting, Jared.
I didn't see any winks. It always just showed her looking at them, being like, "Oh yeah."
There was one. Yeah, there was one so egregious The one when she was wearing a swimsuit and she looked like, "Ugh," and this guy is like looking at her like,
They
"Oh
literally,
my God,
okay,
this
Jared,
guy is so
literally
buff and
one of the villains in the movie is her ex-husband, okay, who is just simping all over her, and like he's like,
kind of.
no, he is. He's trying to get her back, okay, and like she stole his ring and
No, it
sold
wasn't
it.
an ex-husband. They were fiancés.
Okay, oh sorry. Okay, they were
And gloves.
engaged. Whatever. Okay.
My ex fiance, whatever.
Look, it was that entire sequence is perpetuated by him trying to get her back because she's so hot, and she's the ugliest woman I've ever seen.
You're right.
Okay. Also, in that chase scene, the Germans are chasing them down, and they're shooting the whole time. And then the one time Phoebe Waller-Bridge jumps into the car, and he holds up the gun. He's about to shoot her, and the guy says, "No, don't shoot her.
Yeah.
No, dude, it was literally
don't shoot
the
her.
guy's face, though.
Don't shoot her for reasons."
No, he said not to shoot because it literally he was.
She is the definition
from
of
the back.
cuckoo's Karen.
You are interpreting that scene wrong.
Just going out to the front where she was. which
You're
was-
adding context to that scene that wasn't there. The line specific.
Whatever. You're taking
No, Jared. I honestly don't understand that. He literally said, "No, don't shoot her. We need her," or something stupid like that.
No, he didn't. He said, "Don't shoot. Are you insane?" Because he was just about to shoot him, the driver.
No, he was holding it.
Yes.
The gun was in front of him like this, and he says,
I know,
"No."
but he was coming from back behind him, and he was
Dude.
moving forward. So that's
Dude,
when he's like, whoa,
I
whoa,
don't understand your interpretation of that scene because it's not what happened.
That is totally what happened.
They were sitting in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, and the guy was holding
Was
the
shooting
gun
behind
in
him.
front. He was shooting behind him,
behind him.
and then he moves it in front. He's
No,
not going to
he was-
shoot
he
him
was
in the
shooting-
head.
He was
Dude,
shooting
you're
like this.
so
He was
wrong.
shooting.
I watched this. I don't
Did you watch
understand
it
what.
again? Did you
Yes.
go watch it again?
Jared, I would rather get a colonoscopy than watch this movie again. Okay? But like when you first said that, I was so confused because
I have it here. I can look for it.
look for it. No,
Where's the minute?
he's
Where's the
shooting
minute?
behind, and
Where's the
then
minute?
I don't know. It's in the car
what
chase
is
scene.
it? They are in Egypt or
In Egypt. Yeah,
it's when
Oh,
the-
in Egypt. Oh, okay, I know.
it's
I
when
know,
she
Let me look
jumps
for it,
over to the other car.
Let me look for it.
He,
That's
he's
totally
shooting
ridiculous.
behind, and then he moves it in front, and he's going to shoot her, and he says, "No, we can't shoot her." I guess, but they've had no qualms shooting at her up until this point. But it would have ended the movie, so they had to throw in a line.
That's not what happened.
That is exactly what
Okay,
happened,
Egypt.
Jared. You're making
Yeah.
no sense.
No.
Okay. Also, can we talk about the continuity errors? Okay, you mentioned this one, Jared.
Which one?
When they go into the caves at the end of the movie, I mean, there were tons of continuity errors. Okay, like the bodies being in the wrong places and stuff. At the end of the movie, they cross the rope bridge, and it
Yeah.
breaks, and they fall into the water.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, when they're leaving, they just walk across it.
yeah.
and
I was like, what is
both
that?
rope handles are still there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there was a scene where a guy said that he was attracted to Phoebe Waller-Bridge when she was horrible looking and ugly. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah, she had a fiance in the movie. I'm sorry, not like that. Continuity mistake. Thank you very much. Oh man, it was so stupid. Oh, and these people are just leaving bodies everywhere they go.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing. Also, Indiana Jones was a moron the entire film. His entire plan was, I know they're going there, so our plan is to get there first and give it to them. That happened like 7 times in the movie. Okay, what's the plan? What's the plan? Are we going to prepare for when the bad guys show up? No, our plan is we're going to get there first so that they can show up and we can hand it to them. Okay, what's the next plus? Well, we're going to get there first. We're going to do all the hard work and find it, and then we're going to hand it to them. Like, people complain about Raiders of the Lost Ark that if his character didn't exist, nothing would change, right? And that's kind of why that movie's good. But he's not making bad choices in the movie, okay?
Right.
It's true that Indiana Jones is just along for the ride and didn't affect the final outcome of the film, but and it's cool, and you can tell they tried to do the same thing with this. Oh, if he didn't intervene, the same things would have happened, except that he's making bad choices every single step. He was retarded. He recruits his best friend, who gets Antonio Banderas, who gets like one line in the movie, and it was good. I was like, oh, I love Antonio Banderas, and his performance was good.
It was great.
He recruits his friend, fully knowing that the Nazis are going to show up and kill everyone, doesn't tell him, and then has the audacity to be upset when he dies. He has the audacity to lecture Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was literally jumping for joy because her character is so horrible that all of his friends died. Because I pulled off a cool trick with the dynamite. At least they had the self-awareness to call her character out for it.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones literally gets all of his friends dead.
Oh my god, this scene is just so.
On multiple occasions, they could have just prepared.
Yes,
and-
I just saw. Yeah. You're right.
Me?
Yeah, he says, no, I don't know why it's in Spanish, but he says, no la podemos matar. Yeah.
Suck it, Jared.
He says, we cannot kill her. I mean, it says in Spanish, no la podemos matar. I don't know.
Well,
what
maybe
They've been shooting at her the entire chase scene, and when she's right in front. No, because I heard it in English too, Jared, and I was baffled when you argued that. I was like, "What are you talking about?" No, they said we can't kill her.
Yeah, the guy from Narcos Mexico tells the other German guy, he's like, we cannot kill her, and pulls.
They've been shooting at her for the last 20 minutes, and then when she's right in front. No.
Literally,
that would stop the plot.
Literally, one scene before that, she has the rifle and she puts the food in the rifle to avoid getting shot.
Yeah,
literally, like one scene before, and they're like shooting, and she's like putting the food in the rifle to avoid getting shot.
Yeah.
And then one second later, the same car with the same guy shooting. He's like, no, don't shoot her.
They shoot at her right after that too.
Yeah, that was pretty
continuity, baby.
I was wrong in that scene.
Oh, that whole scene, I just saw the whole scene, bro, and my god, Phoebe bashes remember that when Phoebe grabs like a metal part in top of the moto taxi and starts bashing the windshield of the car, and then starts like choking Matt Nicholson, like hanging like Superman.
Dude.
Like at top speed, and then the car from behind is
Mads
about
is
to crash
such
her.
a good actor, and he's not even used in the movie, dude. He just, oh my gosh, it was embarrassing.
Oh
the fact that he wasn't dead makes no sense.
He's embarrassing, man.
He does like they didn't even have Indiana Jones say, "How are you alive?" Like they could have given a line saying, "How are you alive?" Well, I got lucky, because I couldn't believe that he was alive.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so let me see the Archimedes thing.
The Archimedes?
Wow.
Oh, punching him? Yeah. Gosh. Also, can we talk? How stupid is her character?
He says to Archimedes, "I'm your fan." In Asian Greek, are you telling me?
I'm your fan.
I thought that was
I'm your
kind of funny.
fan.
She's like,
In Asian Greek,
I don't know.
literally. Here are the subtitles. He says, "I'm your fan" in Asian Greek.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge, before they go through the time travel. Okay, first off, time travel, that's retarded. Okay.
Yeah, but so is
she says to the kid, "Hey, go start a plane so we can follow them." And then instead of going with the kid, she jumps on a motorcycle and leaves him.
Yeah, I didn't get why she did that.
And the motorcycle.
Also, she didn't add anything. Once she was in the plane, she like dropped those guys in the back. That was it.
The motorcycle.
She didn't need to be like plot wise for writing. If I needed her to be on that plane, so much that would contradict my own plot and plans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, here's our plan. I'm going to go and do the opposite of that. I would assume that it was because I needed her the chess piece on it in a different location because I had written something else, right? It's just bad writing all over the place.
Remember
And then they have like, oh well, how are they going to get back? Well, the actual pilot was asleep inside the plane so that they can land it. Right, so you literally have an 8-year-old boy flying a plane through a wormhole, lands
through a
storm where like the plane stalls, and then at that point the pilot does jump in and help him recover from the stall. Okay, then they land the plane, and they're like, okay, well, how are they going to get back? Well, the pilot was asleep in the plane so that he can fly them back through the wormhole.
Yeah, which if you're in a plane, come on, if you already decide a plane and you don't wait.
She tells him, she says, like, okay, we gotta follow them. You go get that plane ready. And then
she didn't
jumps and does the whole like grab onto the wheels as they're closing things.
It's not a Boeing plane, for it to be like so big that you don't feel it going up in the air.
Also,
even in a big Boeing plane, you're gonna feel it.
Guess
a
what?
Little bit, yeah.
The bad guy's plan makes no sense either, right? So he says, he doesn't want to save Hitler. He wants to do better than him. He's like, I studied the war. I learned all of his mistakes, and I will correct them and make it better. Except that the first mistake he corrects will now invalidate the rest of the things that he learned.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you can only make one change.
Time warp. Yeah.
That's how.
Well, time.
He's like, I studied all of World War II so that I learned all of his mistakes and I can change all of them. But the first change you make has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yep.
That's why with logic and reason, Indiana Jones was able to convince them that it was a dumb plan to begin with.
No, he didn't say the plan was dumb. He said their math was wrong because of continental drift.
But
they weren't going to end up in the same place. They weren't going to actually end up in Berlin in the time they wanted. But then that was invalidated too, because it turns out that the dial was just a distress signal built by Archimedes because the Romans were invading and he needed help from the future. Archimedes, the plot of this movie is that Archimedes discovers time travel, and rather than using it to do anything, he sends a distress signal to bring soldiers from the future to save himself from the Romans.
Wow.
He discovered time travel. I guess maybe you could, if you wanted to give the movie the benefit of the doubt, the wormhole is up in the sky and they don't have the technology to reach it. But like, that's just stupid. So his plan is, I will create this device and anyone who uses it in the future will come to my aid.
Yeah, that part didn't quite make
wouldn't make sense. If he's the genius that he is, it would have to travel into the future, and then it would change history. It wouldn't work. It's called a paradox. Okay, you could travel back in time and then change things, right? But you can't ask the future to come and save you, because then the future wouldn't exist to come and save you.
Yeah, it depends on how they handle time travel, but yeah.
Yeah, unless it's
Yeah, Archimedes solved it.
That's hilarious.
I love this
bad.
movie.
Very bad. Look.
I'm glad to see you come around, Angry Mexico.
I never thought that I would think that the ending of Indiana Jones with aliens would be would all of a sudden feel more plausible.
That was cool, bro, and that had way more like if you know like conspiracy theories, that has way more grasp in at least something that exists.
It jumped the shark. It felt out of place for an Indiana Jones movie, but it's more believable than this crap.
And it's more Indiana Jones than this crap. At least for the
can we talk about how bad the the set and like the Roman war looked, it was like 5 guys on a green screen
Look worse
fighting. It looked
It looked
horrible.
It looked worse than the movie. No, the season 8 of what's the show?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
It looked worse than that. Yeah.
like visually, it's Game of Thrones always looked good. It was just the plot that fell apart.
Yeah, but season 8 is like, it felt like season 8 because when the
It felt like that, yeah.
when the
but
dragon
yeah.
when the
At least-
dragon gets harpoon in the middle of the air, and the airplane gets harpoon in the middle of the air as well. I was like, okay, this is giving me Game of Thrones vibes.
So she steals the Dial of
Yeah.
Destiny from Indiana Jones, goes to sell it, and then doesn't believe Indiana Jones when he says, "Hey, that guy you're working for, I know him and he's a bad guy." She doesn't believe him when he tells her that he's a Nazi and he's trying to he literally like she learned from the news because she's the one that brought it up that he is wanted for murder. So she knows that the people that she's working for are murderers.
No,
And
no.
she
was talking to
still-
Indy.
Game.
She was
What?
talking about Indy there.
No, when he shows up to stop the deal, she says, "Don't listen to this guy. He's wanted for murder."
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
She knew it wasn't him
I
that
know.
did the ending. She was
I
using
know,
it as
yeah.
an excuse. It was
Yeah.
his own colleagues. If you're saying she believed that, that's even worse.
No, I'm not
So
saying
so she knew that they were bad people, and then he comes and tries to warn her they are bad people, and she has that knowledge and still says, "No, I'm still okay working with them.
Huh.
I don't believe you that they're bad people, even though I know that they are murderers. I'm okay with this." This is the hero of the movie, the main character of the movie. She has more screen
I didn't
time than
see her as
Indiana
the hero,
Jones.
though. I didn't see. Indiana Jones was definitely the hero, but
He was not the
No,
main
Phoebe-
character,
Phoebe-
and he was
Phoebe
not a
was-
hero.
Phoebe was the main character. Phoebe, that there's something that really easy to tell that Phoebe is the main character because Phoebe she starts
She's the only one that
Yeah.
has
no
it's a fake arc.
every
It's forced
movie
and it's
every move
undeserved, but
she does-
she's the only one that has an arc.
every move she or anyone else that is not her does, anyone else makes a move and she has to react to it in the very same scene in the very next scene. Every single move. There's a pretty clear example of that in the very next scene after she gets introduced to the plot. Indy's getting his retirement party, and this girl is reacting to the retirement party like from a side, like from 2 classrooms away, like looking through the window. And I was like, okay, the whole movie, the movie does that. The whole movie, Indy does something and she reacts. Anyone does something, she reacts to it. She is the main character. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, especially if you're telling me that he gets knocked out by her in the end and doesn't get to make that decision.
Yeah,
You know,
he does.
he can't be the hero if he doesn't have agency. If he's just along for the ride.
He does, and and I just saw the hit, and it's not even like a hook to the shin. It's a straight like punch to the head, like straight to the head, and it's like okay, so
Yeah.
brain dead. They didn't bring someone that had a little bit of a grasp martial arts to to do the stunt scenes and the martial arts scenes.
And okay, let's talk about the boat scene too. Okay, the most pointless sequence of the entire movie, right?
Mhm.
Where they show up and they know that the bad guys are minutes behind, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go do the hard work. We're gonna and just spoon feed it to them, and the whole scene is like it was presented as like a thrilling scene, and instead it was, hey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down and we're gonna come back up, and that's exactly what happened. That was it, and and I've been trying to Google it relentlessly because it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe a scuba diver can tell me. But
Yeah, I'm actually gonna say
I'm pretty sure you can't avoid the bends by just doing it quicker. That's kind of the opposite of what you want to do to avoid the bends.
Yeah, well, typically, actually, what you do is you have to ascend a certain amount, and then you actually have to sit and wait.
Yeah, you wait.
You have to extend and then wait.
Yeah, so
because
correct me if I'm wrong. Doing it faster would make it worse, right?
Yeah, it actually, yeah.
Okay. And then the first guy who gets his thing cut. Why did he fall down into the pit? and then everyone else activate, like, he doesn't even try to activate his life jacket. He just decides to die. Because all the rest of them make it, and he's the first one, and he's like, oh, he looks up and sees it falling, and then just does nothing.
Well, then he realizes he can't breathe, and then he struggles to.
Because if you look up and see your oxygen falling, I think it's pretty clear you're not going to be able to breathe. Yeah. Why not? Why doesn't he? And he chooses not to activate his life jacket.
Actually, yeah, and I mean, yeah, I thought that was a little weird too. But actually, I think I want to amend the statement before, because if I remember correctly, I think what happens with the bends is that it's after a certain amount of time.
Right. Okay. So if you
failing that, because what happens is when you go down it's
the pressure, right? It's the process of depressurizing. If you do it too fast, it will make you explode. Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
It's possible maybe.
Yeah, because
if you don't give your body the chance to pressurize.
I think that's what they were trying to say, and I can't remember if that's accurate or not.
I don't think that's a thing, but
because I do remember when I learned about the bends and having to come up slowly and then sit and then slowly and sit, is that I call it
the bounce method.
it was based off of how long you have been down, because a lot of times when you go scuba diving, you're down for 15, 20 minutes, right? And so it's a lot longer than 3 minutes, like they were talking about.
Right.
How they go down to three minutes and then they get back
But
down.
It's also problematic if you go down too fast, right?
Well, and they didn't go down too fast, because they went down with their belt, and they just went down as they descended.
Okay.
So, because that's the thing, yes. So if you sink too quickly, then yes, that is also a problem. But because they kind of floated down at a natural rate, like that wasn't bad.
Do you love how they found sunken treasure in 4 minutes?
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
They said to avoid the bends, you have to do it fast. It's the bounce method. You can't stay for longer than 4 minutes. And it took exactly 4 minutes to find treasure that had been lost at sea since ancient Greece.
On a big.
It was just there in a box, right on top.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, how fortuitous of them.
Deus Machina, for sure.
Deus Ex Crapica. Yes, Martina, Hollywood is constantly trying to destroy the distinction between good and bad at every turn. And what's crazy to me is that Phoebe Waller-Bridge actually thought she was writing herself a good character.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She made herself the hero of this story.
Yeah, that's the part that does not compute in my head, that these characters like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and like Galadriel, they're just freaking a-holes the whole time, and then somehow they think they're endearing characters.
And then, without fail, at the end, they don't have to change. Mm-hmm. They get told, no, I was wrong the whole time, but then they get to have like this redemption, but it's not even a redemption. They're just proven right at the end.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, and can we talk about how in that scene the villain is the eels? How they literally fight eels for like 3 minutes.
They look like snakes.
It's the snakes.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
No, come on. I was just waiting for why did it have to be snakes?
No. Eels.
Why did it have to be eels?
I thought it was clever.
The eels look so eerie as well. They look so bad.
None of this movie looked good. Seriously, the only part was at the very end where we're like, okay, they actually built some practical effects, some practical sets. At the very end, they have $300 million. Where did it go? Where did the money go? I'm told that they filmed 4 different endings and tested them all with test audiences, and this is the one that they kept. So there's that. I hated it. I hated it so much.
I liked it. It was fun.
It's fun. It's so bad. It's fun, to be honest.
There were some problems, and I'll admit that. But as I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't too bad.
Well,
I think it's so bad. It's funny.
Worse movies.
Yeah,
there's no worse
movies.
Movie in 2023, in my opinion.
Yeah, not this year for sure.
A lot of movies this year. So.
Its Thursday box office haul was worse than The Flash.
Oh my god! Imagine.
It ended up doing slightly better. So The Flash did 55 million, and Indiana Jones did 60 for the weekend.
I was expecting
that means
that actually to happen.
Not including advertising costs, bare minimum, and being generous, this movie has to make 600,000 to recover from its budget, right? If it wants to, this movie. I mean, this is the biggest budget we've ever seen. If this movie doesn't make $1 billion, it will be a financial loss.
Yep, and it hasn't even made.
Yeah, and not even it's not gonna make like even 700. At least 400.
So Crystal Skull topped out at just under 800,000
million.
But it made money because they only spent this much.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was like everyone was excited to see Indiana Jones again, right?
Yeah,
not much,
dude. The Last Crusade cost under $50 million, and it made $500 million. Okay, that is huge. Those are huge returns. And guess what? Literally, take any scene from The Last Crusade, and it visually looks better than Dial of Destiny. Take any scene from Temple of Doom. Visually, it looks better than the Dial of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Even some of the cheesy special effects, right? With faces melting. It looks better than this movie.
Better, yeah.
Where did they spend their money?
CGI.
It is
No,
expensive.
it was bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, there's that. David, you sent me this one though. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny star and writer Phoebe Waller-Bridge says punching out the titular hero. Oh no, you didn't send me this.
Yeah, that doesn't look familiar.
Punching out titular hero was glorious because it was so funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it funny. That's for sure.
Well, she thought it was funny, and she's the one that wrote the scene.
Yeah,
she thought, "Oh, won't it be so funny? I'll punch him in the face. That will be the finale of the movie." Because Indiana Jones is the hero. I get to punch him in the face. Ha ha ha! I'm so funny. Okay, you know what? The one time I laughed in the movie was immediately ruined by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes.
The one good joke. Okay, when the little kid says, "Oh no," who was he talking about? He was talking about the Civil War or something like that.
Yeah, who was it?
Yes.
He asked about some historical figure from the Civil War, and he's like, "Wait, I thought you knew him. I thought you went to school together, right?" He was It was a funny joke, making fun of Indiana Jones' age, and before the film even gives you a chance to laugh at the joke, Phoebe Waller-Bridge interrupts and says, "You got to admit that was a funny joke." Looking into camera.
My dear God.
Guess what? That joke that I wrote It was funny, right? You like it? You like me? I'm pretty. She writes into the movie lines. She gets to say she writes into the script lines calling her beautiful. Oh, I'm such a beautiful,
Yeah.
charismatic person. Everyone loves me. She has characters winking at her left and right. It's
Do you
disgusting.
want to hear a phrase that is going to sell you on watching the movie Indiana Jones 4?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is talking to Shia LaBeouf. Indiana Jones says that he got captured by Pancho Villa. And Indiana Jones says that he got captured by Pancho Villa while Pancho Villa was fighting Victoriano Huerta, which
Dude, why couldn't we get that story? Dude,
that's actually Spanish. That's actually
why
historically
couldn't we
correct.
have gotten
I
an
mean,
Indiana
not the
Jones
Indiana
story
Jones one.
where he's trying to uncover some like Mayan ruins, right? And he gets freaking captured by Pancho Villa. Oh, that would have been good.
That's what they talk about in yes. That's what they talk about in Indiana Jones 4.
I know.
Literally, and that's why I say Indiana Jones 4 is a way more Indiana Jones movies that Indiana Jones 5. Watch Indiana Jones 4, and you are going to have a different thought of this movie. You're going to say, "Oh my god!" And even if Indiana Jones 4 has the silly, scenes with the ants, it has Kate Blanchett. Okay, it has Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, no, she was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't the acting that was. The movie has flaws, but it wasn't. It was the acting was good. It has good ideas. I hope the audience understands
Blanchett.
why she had to punch him in the face. Yes, no, we know why. We know why. David, you said you're the one that sent me this one. James Mangold had to fight Kathleen Kennedy
Yeah.
to ensure that Harrison Ford's swan song intimidated Hugh Jackman's Logan. So
Imitated. Yeah.
imitated, right? So if not for his intervention, this movie would have been more insulting to Indiana Jones.
I guess. I don't know.
Because Logan is good because, he is the disgruntled hero, but he gets to be the hero of the film. Okay? It's a swan song because even though all of this bad stuff is happening to him, he never gives up and he's still the hero. Okay? And that's the difference, okay, Jared? That's life. Okay? When you talk about that's life. In Logan, everything is literally going to hell in a handbasket around Logan. Okay? He has to the scenes with Professor Xavier are so depressing, but simultaneously so inspiring because Logan never gives up.
Mm-hmm.
This movie
that's one person's
is
reaction,
the
and there are other ways
opposite.
to react to that.
This
And
movie
there
is
are other
the
ways to
opposite of
overcome that as
Logan.
well.
This is the absolute opposite of Logan. But and here's the thing. Here's the difference with Logan. Logan has never wanted to be the hero. Okay, if you're looking at all of even the comics and the movies, Logan is an anti-hero. Wolverine never wants to be involved, and he's always joined begrudgingly. And yet in Logan, he does it because he has to, because he knows it's the right thing to do. And this, you have the hero who's always been the hero and decides to be a dick for reasons.
Well, maybe he got tired of always being the hero.
Yeah. And I hate it.
That happens, That happens
Yes.
to a lot of people.
And I don't want to see it in my Indiana Jones movie.
And
I'm just saying,
it would be one thing. It would be one thing though if he said, "Okay, I'm tired to do this. Whatever. I'm washed up. I can't do this anymore. I'm old."
You can't say
whatever.
you don't see the pattern, though, Jared. They've done this to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying it's one thing to have that say, I'm washed up, I can't do this anymore, and then to have him, take up the mantle and do this one last action hurrah and pass the torch to the next generation. It's another thing to have him just be carried onto this journey and punched in the face because he doesn't have any agency in this thing. And he still doesn't want to do the right thing at the very end of the film.
He does do that. The rest of the movie is him doing that because he knows he's got to do that, and that's what he does. He's the one that's going to Egypt. He's the one that says, "Hey, I got to go to Egypt. I got to go to Greece. I got to go do this," and she just happens to be there. right? And so then she's just kind of following along. I get the
Yeah,
whole
but-
punch in the
but
face
if you-
is bad. Yes,
If
I
you
get
want to have that arc, though, you don't have the hero of the film be punched in the face and knocked out and not given the final choice to,
To do the right thing in the end.
I get that the punch at the end is really
It's
hard to
disrespectful.
swallow because
Yeah.
it does take away.
But that's
that
what the
character
entire
arc.
film is building towards. You can't.
I get that. I get that it destroys that character arc at the end, but at the same time, I'm just trying to say that like this, there is still a character arc with Indiana Jones. Like he does,
Yes, and it's a bad one.
These are things that maybe I let go and I didn't need to let go of them, or I didn't need to focus on them as much, right? Like he does go out, he's still going out and he's still climbing cliffs. He's still doing this adventure. Like he's the one that's doing it.
I love you, Martina.
You either die a hero or you live long enough for the writers to turn you into a jerk.
That's good.
But all I'm saying, David, is literally the rest of the movie was basically Indiana Jones doing that. Like saying, look, I am washed up. This is hard for me to do, but I'm still doing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's
then at
all
the end he gets
and it's
punched, and I
all
agree.
invalidated by his stupidity and groveling and crying in the last scene. It's all stripped away. It doesn't matter all of the good things because he's horrible at the end.
But see, he wanted to do it because he got to experience what he's been living for though.
Yes, I understand, and it's a bad choice.
Well, but when you're in that moment, it's always hard to make the right
and
choice.
the literal villain of the movie was able to see the right choice, but he wasn't.
Well, because she wasn't attached to it like he was.
But she's the villain of the film. She is a horrible person. And she's able to see the right choice, and he's not. That completely invalidates the rest of the movie.
It's because she's impartial. She's completely impartial to that decision. That's all I'm saying. That's literally what I saw in the movie. Is that he was basically building his. I mean, he was still the same. Hey, I got to do this. I got to get up this cliff, even though I'm old, right? Like he literally in that scene, he's like, Why are you stopping? He's like, oh, I'm just thinking. What are you thinking about? Oh, I'm thinking about why all my body hurts right now, but I'm still doing this, right? Like it literally says that same thing in the movie.
Yeah.
But then at the end, the only thing.
And then I get that. I get it. And it's ruined by the ending.
Well, that's different than what you guys have been talking about, though.
No,
You guys are just
that's what
talking
I'm
about
saying.
how
If
Dude,
you want
he's
it to be-
willing to destroy history.
But who says I wouldn't do the same thing if I went back to ancient Greece?
But that's not a swan song.
I know, and
A swan song is like the perfect farewell to this character, right?
Yeah, but
You don't have a
but
perfect
that's what I'm saying,
farewell
too.
by getting him punched in the face, knocked out,
And
and not
stripping
making
him
the
of
right
his
decision.
agency.
Yeah, exactly.
Stripping him of his moment of glory.
Now,
The entire film is built up to spit directly in Indiana Jones' face, but with a fist instead of spit.
yeah. If she wanted to talk him down from
Literally!
it, yeah, you're
She
right.
tried,
I
and she
need to
couldn't.
not make this decision. That's one thing, but punching him in the face and not giving him the decision, that's disrespectful. That's not a swan song.
Well, because she cared more about time than about his opinion, which was
She doesn't care about humans. She doesn't care about human life.
But that's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. Let's move on. We spent an hour and 40 minutes talking about just this thing. So we obviously don't agree, and that's okay. I have a different opinion than you guys do.
Yeah.
There's a new Superman, and
saw this.
Lois Lane has been cast, and I don't like him. Moving on.
Yeah.
He's like 9 years younger than Henry Cavill, but he looks older. But Henry Cavill was too old. James Gunn is a liar. Secret Invasion director admits that the show has nothing to do with the original comic story and says the changes to Nick Fury's character came from Marvel. I guess we should talk about that once we talk about Secret Invasion. So, but yeah, we'll skip that thought. I shouldn't have brought that one up.
Yep.
But
It is true, though.
We'll hold it in the bank for later. The Mandalorian executive producer Rick admits that Bo-Katan Kryze is the titular character of the Mandalorian. Yes, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
Yep.
Disney sucks. Disney sucks.
Yep.
Elizabeth Banks explains how the adult Flintstone sequel show is going to be
Oh,
family friendly-ish.
please no.
They're doing a reboot of this.
Oh gosh.
They're making an adult Flintstone sequel.
My God.
Yeah, this pattern doesn't make any sense.
If it's family friendly-ish, it's not family friendly.
Exactly.
Okay, this is bull crap.
At least they're not saying it's family friendly and then cramming it full of grooming stuff and whatever. Like, I mean, that's the normal agenda, right?
Don't speak too soon, David.
No, I'm
Don't speak
saying,
too soon.
at least usually they say, oh, it is family friendly. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it, and they're lying.
Yes, usually.
So I appreciate the tidbit of honesty.
That's true. Like a lot of times when they do this, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is meant for the younger audience."
It's been a very interesting week with the Supreme Court, though. I don't know if you guys follow Count Dankula, but he does this wonderful thing where anytime the Supreme Court releases a massive decision, he changes his profile to Justice Dankula and starts tweeting about the decisions, and people think that he's a real justice.
Wow.
He originally responded to a tweet that has since been deleted, and when I saw it, I knew it was going to be deleted, so I took a screenshot. But it is the worst take. This should be in bad takes, but we're doing it right now because it's mostly news. It's the worst. It's literally the worst take I've ever seen in my life. You got to read the original tweet first, okay? Today's Supreme Court decision, it was specifically referring to canceling affirmative action. Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on Black people. No Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system, which is exactly why affirmative action-based programs were needed. Today's decision is a travesty. I assumed it was satire and I was laughing because it was so good. Turns out she was 100% serious and then clarified the tweet. Yeah, that's the worst take I've ever seen. It was so bad. It had to be satire, but it wasn't. And then Dankula responded, saying, "We decided that you need to be smart to go to college," and then people went off on him, thinking he was an actual judge. Right? You're a white privilege. How can you hold this job? Right? And he's, excuse me, I'm 1/1000th Cherokee. But yeah, I had to. It's the worst thing. It's worse. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, I need to get some sleep. I need to get the video edit for tomorrow morning for the review, the Mexican review of Indiana Jones 5, because it's a wild ride. Yeah, it's a wild ride. And I have like 30 minutes of video already, and I need to trim that out because it's too much. But yeah, it was a fun night. It was so funny.
It's always
it was so
fun
funny to talking to you guys, and it was so funny talking about the movie. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about it with you guys. I don't know. I know that I seem that I was angry, but that's my whole shtick. So I was just having a lot of fun talking about some of the inconsistencies of the movie, but it's okay. It's okay. I hope it doesn't make money though. I want to see Kathleen Kennedy to fail. That's all I want to. That's all I want.
And it's got almost double the budget.
Yeah, and I wanted Flash to flop, but I want this movie to flop even harder, and I hope the Flash recovers some money to just to compete with Marvel and and Disney, to be able to have some competition there. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Thank you all of my followers for tuning in to support
Go,
the stream.
go
Thank
check out
Mark
the
Clark,
extended version of
Martina.
our song
Oh
on Angry
yeah, yeah.
Max's
Check
channel.
out the
Yeah.
extended version of that song. It's a good one already. It almost has
We
10,000 views, but
we doubled the
still
previous
struggling.
racial
Yeah,
slurs.
struggling. It has to do better, guys. Has to do better. Thank you so much for your support, all of you. I love you, and goodbye.
See ya.
See
Bye,
you.
Mixa.
Right, next.
Bye. Buenas
Good night.
noches.
Well, thanks Teo for listening. It's fun to talk, so I'm glad people like hearing it because I'm going to keep doing it. So Secret Invasion
Oh
sucked.
gosh.
Sucked. It sucks. This show
Yeah.
is boring, garbage, and makes no sense. I don't even have a
Yep.
lot to say. I have two main points. It's horrible. It's boring. The coup scene, I was laughing my head off
Yeah.
because it actually happened, and the entire time I was thinking, no, like this is the coup. This is it, and that was it. The dude waltzes in after committing atrocities, and they're like, how dare you do that, except we're all gonna put you in charge now because reasons.
Because one person said that it's a good idea, and then everybody else just agreed.
Oh my gosh, that's okay. That's not how coups work.
Yeah.
And he lets the one dissenting voice go. That's not how coups work either, baby. Okay.
Yep. You gotta silence those dissenting voices.
I
No,
was
but-
I was laughing out loud. Oh my gosh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
And
Same issues with continuity. Like there's one scene when the scrolls come in and they snipe a guy at the butcher shop like through a door, and then they show them opening the door, and the guy that made the shot is on the other side behind the door. Like,
in that scene,
how did he make the shot?
so
How did
Olivia
he see
Colman.
who to shoot?
Okay, Olivia Colman. She said, like, where's the trapdoor? Well, it's directly under the prisoner, right? And she's like, well, I know that all of you people are going to die, right? So she takes that pole and blocks the door, and then
I forgot about that.
And then from
right.
the outside, they destroy the hinges with thermite, and then the door falls forward.
Yeah,
And not only is the bar not there, but the clip that she clipped it to is not there, and the
Yeah.
clips on the inside are gone.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's not bad
completely forgot about
editing.
that.
It's just bad everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do another thing too with
It wasn't even a continuity mistake. It was literally just like, I don't know what. How do you
Yeah,
even describe that?
Yeah, physics defying for sure. Yeah, and they did another goof too with line of sight. Like, these people do not understand line of sight. When the girl walks in to spy on those people with that little energy thing, there's like one thing that's blocking her, right? But it shows that she's like 10 feet away from this thing.
and then
you don't
it
understand.
pans out. It cuts to a wide shot and it shows her like,
yeah. No, she's not even ducking. She's just standing there, and it shows the camera shot that she's being covered. And it's like, you realize that only blocks line of sight from like maybe one of those guys that are entirely across the room. All you have to do is do this, and
they're
you'll
in,
see your
they're in a
entire
half
body.
circle too. They're like in a half circle around the
And
thing. Like,
nobody notices her just waltz in, and it's like they show, oh yeah, she's being covered because we show this camera shot of her being covered. Like, no, that's not how line of sight works. You guys are stupid idiots.
isn't she like can
crap?
What if she just like transformed into the wall, right? like the
Maybe
Krulls.
that.
I
If
don't
they can
know.
okay, look,
I don't
if you
know.
can change your face into another human, you could change your body to be the same shade as the wall. Okay, They can change their clothing too. Okay, you could just pretend to be the wall, and it would have been more effective.
Yeah.
Would have felt silly though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I know. I think that would be silly, but still, she just waltzes in there and is just nonchalant. Like so much of the show is just people following and spying on people just by like walking normally and not being secretive at all. It's like, and then there was the scene where
the scenes that they are being secretive, it makes no sense. He calls Nick Fury like calls up the good scroll guy, and he's like okay, I'm gonna talk to you, Nick Fury. What's the sitch? You know, oh yeah, I could set up a meeting, right? It's gonna be dangerous, right? And he's like trying to hide, and then okay, I'm gonna end, and then he ends that phone call and then just walks away.
Yeah,
just down the street. You know,
he's just in an alley.
Wait, that wasn't Nick Fury on the phone though.
It was the Skrull. It was Nick Fury calling the Skrull guy. The Skrull.
But then there was that other scene.
The one time they showed him being evasive.
Called him when the woman that walked out called the other Skrull.
Oh, it was him. It was her. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was her.
Yeah.
But he was like being all sneaky.
Exactly.
For no reason. Yeah. Like he wasn't even in the same city.
Oh, yeah, I see.
He was like in a different city too.
But then there was the other scene with Nick Fury and the Skrull guy that were on the train, and they're like, we gotta be quiet. Like they're hunting for a black man, and then they're just like shouting at each other in the train car. It's like, you guys aren't being secretive at all.
And then he has his cover just leave.
And
the police are still on the plane, actively looking for Nick Fury.
And then he was the scene where Brody War Machine was, telling Nick Fury that he's out. He's got to go home.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
We've got a car out for you in the back.
That entire scene.
He just walks out, sits on a bench, and then the next scene, Nick Fury's driving his own car in some secret bunker. It's like, you just let him leave? You said, we're here to take you home. You're not going anywhere. And he just...
The entire conversation is a veiled metaphor for racism in the United States. Are you freaking kidding me? We're taking time to preach again in a 6-episode series that's supposed to be a spy thriller, and you're lecturing us on racism in America. Are you kidding me?
Not only that,
and in context, it made no sense.
Yeah. But not only that, I don't know if they're trying to make a commentary on this and a parallel, or if they're just brain dead and they don't understand. They didn't realize the connection they made. But in that scene where Talos and Nick Fury are talking on the train, he's talking about how he was treated as a black man, not being able to sit in the same part of the train or whatever. And then they end that conversation saying, hey, there's not enough room on this planet for the both of us. It's like, I don't know if they're trying to make a commentary on that. Like,
I don't
they're
know,
doing the same thing to these aliens.
Nick Fury just goes full racism in that scene.
It's like
there's not room for. Are you kidding? We can't even get along as blacks in America. There's no way we're gonna like you frickin' greenies, right? Yeah.
It was
now we got to come
weird.
up with a song full of racial slurs for the
like.
Skrulls.
What are they going for? Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what they were going for in that scene.
The motivation for the villain of this piece, he's not being framed as a villain. He's sympathetic, guys. He's right the whole time. He's the good guy. Is because Nick Fury broke a promise. That means we can blow up innocent people.
Yep. But Nick Fury is so cool that even when I'm out, I'm in. That was such a stupid line.
And the episode ends with the reveal that Nick Fury is married to a Skrull.
Yeah.
And unironically, they forgot that Nick Fury has been up in space for like 10 years.
Yep.
He abandoned his wife for like 10 years.
Yeah, unless she was up there with him.
The show opens with him saying, I have not set foot on... Like, no wonder he hasn't come home. He's staying away from her.
Yeah, but also there's no room on this planet for both of them, but also it doesn't make sense. It doesn't
I
make sense.
don't think he's supposed to know. Maybe
that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Changes,
She
it
changes
shows
back
her,
into him. Yeah,
and then he comes in. So she's wearing a face. Maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Either
that's
way,
probably what
it's
they're going
really dumb.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably what they're doing. He doesn't know that she's a Skrull. But yeah. That was really so stupid. Oh, okay. One more thing. One more issue
Or
that I had with it.
Maybe she, the Skrull, like killed his real wife and is pretending to be his wife.
Maybe.
Because that's what they did with
That's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they took her hostage or something, right? And they're using her to spy.
Yeah, that's very likely. But the other thing that's really dumb, both of these episodes, right? This is supposed to be a secret invasion that nobody knows is happening.
And they show us
bodies everywhere. Like they take the guy out into the woods,
and they leave him in the woods instead of bringing him back to the compound.
Exactly. Like
they leave him in the woods.
Have to kill him or whatever, but they just leave this Skrull body out in the woods for people to find. That's going to ruin your secret invasion, and they're doing that all over, leaving tons of Skrull bodies all over the place and not dealing with them. It's like, how stupid are you? This show is so dumb, dumb.
On FNT, their consensus was that he knows his wife is a Skrull. It could be. I legitimately don't know.
I don't know.
And it doesn't matter because all of the outcomes are stupid.
Yes.
I can't. I feel the same way. I cannot stand. I don't dislike Don Cheadle as a person. Okay, I cannot stand him as War Machine. He's so arrogant, and it pisses me off because he's never been important.
Yeah.
Who was the? He never should have been recast. I don't know if the old guy did something bad, but he demanded too much money, so he was recast for Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
But but God forbid we recast the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Even though that was in his will.
Right. Anyways, it's boring. It's dumb. It's incompetent.
Yeah,
I'm not enjoying the show.
Like we knew earlier, has nothing to do with the source material and came from the top.
Well, I mean, we already know they have to change the source material because the Skrulls aren't evil anymore. It's just
they're just misunderstood. It's okay. They can blow up innocent people in the town square.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Nick Fury broke a promise. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yep.
So how's that Matt Johnson? There's a couple bad takes. Let's do some screen rants. I got the thing here.
Screen rants. Bad takes.
Here we go. This is actually a double feature because this is my recommendation if you're looking for something good to watch. Go watch The Bear on Hulu. Season 2 just came out recently, and I had already watched season 1, and I really enjoyed season 1. It's a great drama about cooking. It's not, it's framed as a cooking show, but it's a drama, right? It's a character study about mental health and depression, and it's really, really well done. And then as season 2 came out, I watched almost the whole thing in one sitting because I was so engrossed. Season 1 is fantastic. Season 2 blows it out of the water. I was shocked at the quality of season 2. The writing was phenomenal. But this article sucks. The Bear season 2 smartly fixed the only major problem from season 1. Okay. The point that they're making is horribly framed. Okay. Season 2 does make changes, but it didn't fix a problem. There was no problem with season 1. Season 1 was about the main character, and season 2 branches out and makes the side characters more important. right? It gives them more time. But that's not what season 1 was about. So it wasn't a major problem. Screw you, Screen Rant. But season 2 is miles better than season 1. But season 1 wasn't bad. Does that make sense? There are like one-off episodes.
I've never heard of that one.
There are one-off episodes in season 2 that follow around just like a single member of the ensemble cast. Yeah, if you're struggling from depression, perhaps you need a scoop. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, super good show, but Screen Rant sucks. Another bad take.
Yep.
Indiana Jones 5 redeems Shia LaBeouf's despised Mutt Williams by murdering him off screen.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Screw off, Den of Geek. You are not a real geek and you don't like fun. For the people celebrating the Flash movie bombing, I hope you know that this will hurt all future comic book movie projects. Financiers are going to be way less likely to back comic book movies in general when one like this does so poorly.
Good. Maybe they will stop for a minute and only make good ones.
We want producers to be cautious going into films. We want producers to take the time to make sure that their movies are good before just shooting them out into the public.
100%.
Deal. This man is an idiot. Secret Invasion. With Secret Invasion, Marvel misses yet another opportunity to spotlight queer love in the MCU. Because clearly, what's this guy's name? His character?
Talos. Talos, yeah.
Because clearly, both characters who have, even within the MCU, have been portrayed as straight, should be gay for each other, especially right after the dude's wife dies.
Yep.
His daughter, it's so recent, his daughter doesn't even know that her mom's dead yet. And they want to push this.
That's pretty sick. But hey, it's not too late. His wife is a Skrull, so
yeah,
I mean,
she could
shapeshift into
she
a
could
man.
shape change into a man if that's what Nick Fury wants.
Oh dear.
Not off the table.
Can we get a scene where his wife shape changes into Talos to role play in the bedroom?
Oh gosh,
honey, what's wrong? You're not.
Oh dear.
You just came back. Why aren't you with me? Do you want me to do the thing again?
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
You're sick. Stop pushing this. It's not working for you.
Yep.
MCU star Anthony Mackie. MCU star Anthony Mackie calls out Harry Potter's lack of diversity. Because Harry Potter didn't have any effing black friends, I believe is the direct quote. Which isn't in this.
No, it's right there in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Harry Potter had no effing black friends. Frodo walked. Oh, he's dissing Lord of the Rings too. Frodo walked across the entire universe and never met a black dude. Oh my gosh, you're a moron. Frodo walked across Europe and never met a black dude because there currently weren't any black people there because the black people are in other parts of the country, like Tolkien wrote.
Yep.
It's supposed to represent European mythology. Black people exist, and they aren't in the part of the world where Frodo is. You moron. I want to see Frodo in the hood. Great. Write a fan fiction and screw off. Which, if I ever do
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live, I'm going to be a skit that's I'm going to do. I'm going to see Frodo in the Hood. Great, that would be funny, and it would probably make a good skit,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be Tolkien
Mhm.
because it would be inherently a skit.
Exactly.
I used to Anthony Mackie in the past. He used to be based. He said some really good stuff in the past, and in the recent years, he's just gone off the deep end. He's just gone so crazy liberal. It's disgusting. He said some really moronic things. I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Apparently, source material.
Yeah.
We got some good takes too, though. Gal Gadot said, "You're an idiot if you think that people don't want to see movies with women in them. People want to see good stories, and Gal Gadot is awesome and hot.
Yep.
So way to go, Gal." And did we cover this one last week? I had a couple up that I don't even know if
I
we
don't
got
think
to.
so. I
But
agree.
Screen
though.
Rant. 10 ways the Orville is better than modern Star Trek, baby.
Screen Rants. Good takes?
I don't know. I tried to give Orville a chance. I didn't enjoy it.
Are you kidding me, Jared? Are you
Kaylina-
kidding me?
Too crude.
Orville.
Too crude.
No, Orville is so good. It's so.
Too crude.
Kaylina Pierce Bowen, you are a jewel in the Nile. You are a what's the phrase?
Diamond in the rough.
You're a diamond in the rough.
You're a
You're
rose
jewel
among thorns.
You're a jewel in the Nile.
There you go, Jared. There's your rocks.
You are an honor amongst thieves. You are.
No, we've talked about this before.
Season 1 of the Orville is a little bit crude.
Yeah.
And it gets
Too crude.
it's so good though. It's the best Star Trek.
Because you guys have mentioned it a lot, and I was like, okay, like I want to give it a shot, but then like,
Yeah.
it was just,
season
it's
one
so
is
good,
season one
Jared.
is
So
average.
good.
Season 1 is average. Seasons 2 and 3 are mind-bogglingly good.
It's so well crafted in the way that it just brings up these issues, social, political issues, just vague mirrors of our political issues or whatever, but it changes them just enough that you can't you can't criticize it. It's so smart in the way that it does it.
Yeah.
In the way that old Star Trek used to do. It would bring up these moral issues of racism.
They brilliantly
religion.
introduced a way of making you think about modern politics without taking a side or telling you which
Exactly.
one is wrong, but making you think about the morality of the situations. It's brilliant.
And they never come out and say, "Hey, these people did this thing and they're wrong for doing this." Just like old Star Trek used to do. They come across a society that believes something a different way. They say, "Hey, look, this is how this society did it. That's not how we do it," and they resolve their differences. And it's so brilliant. I love it. It's doing what Star Trek used to do, and I wish Star Trek would do again. But Star Trek has just turned into Star Wars. It's just space action. There's no commentary on morality, and it's sad.
I would love to see hot women returning to main roles of their own films instead of taking over someone else's Indiana Jones. Just watch season 2. You need to watch one episode of season 1, and then you can watch the seasons 2 and 3.
All right, I watched
Yeah.
like 4 episodes, and then I was like,
No. You need to
Oh,
watch
but
one
this guy who-
specific episode. You have to watch the Mocklin episode in season 1, and you should
'Cause-
probably watch the prank episode in season 1,
Oh, that's in season 1. Yeah, that's so good.
and then seasons. 2
There's
and 3.
only but there is one episode specifically in season 1 that I thought was too
Yeah,
raunchy.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Well, because he had to trick the studio. He had to lie to them and say, "Hey, I want to make a parody on Star Wars, and it's going to be a comedy, I promise." Or on Star Trek, it's going to be a comedy, I promise. And then it turns out he just wanted to do Star Trek.
Yeah.
And that's what seasons 2 and 3 are.
It's so good.
Well, because he was in the running to take over for Star Trek,
Right.
and they
They
rejected
turned
him.
down.
Idiots.
It's really good, Jared. Give it another chance. If it was their version of the Tchaikovsky virus episode, that's the one episode I do not like. It's awkward and gross.
well, the first
But-
episode is about how he found his
Yes.
ex-wife sleeping with some other weird alien or something like that. That like
Yeah.
is blue.
Yeah,
and
it's the episode where he comes on the ship that is it's too raunchy.
When that character comes on the ship, I would skip that episode.
So there's just a lot of that, and then I hadn't seen this episode, but I saw something about Orville, and it was about how the main weird guy that kind of looks like Worf basically has to go and sit on an egg or something like that, and so everybody's gonna go watch him sit on an egg, and I'm like, what is this show?
Yeah, that's the episode you need to watch. Believe me, it's weird, but it's so good, Jared. It's so good.
I don't know.
I think you're mixing up 2 episodes. There is an episode where they go to watch him pee.
Oh yes, that's what it is.
And there's an episode where he is sitting on an egg, and
that's one that I watched. I watched
Yeah.
him sitting on the egg in his quarters, and he couldn't do anything. He was off duty because he's sitting on an egg. But yeah, the one where he had to go and watch him pee is. I'm like, what in the world? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like my kind of show.
It's Star Trek. It's the best Star Trek out there right now, man.
Give it
It's the
another
only.
shot.
It's the only Star Trek currently running that's actually a sci-fi. Anyway, those are the bad takes. You guys want to let's finally talk about Matt Johnson, and we might actually have a short strain. 2 hours. That's a record, baby.
All right, back to the original.
Did you guys
It's
watch
been a
all of them?
while. Yeah. No, I still haven't watched all of them.
Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
watched them all.
I'm sorry.
I own BlackBerry. If you want to log into my
Yes,
Amazon.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will get around to it. It's just been busy job hunting.
Mark!
And whatnot.
Finish watching Operation Avalanche. Okay, if you're new to the stream,
It's worth it.
You need to watch Matt Johnson's movies. He's a guerrilla filmmaker who asks for forgiveness instead of permission and lies to people to get into places so that he can film, and then he keeps the footage. First movie's called The Dirties, and it's a movie about mental health. It's a comedy about mental health and school shootings.
See, that's the thing. I
Which
didn't
doesn't
really
sound
find it very
appealing.
funny, though.
Huh?
That one I
It's
didn't find very funny at all.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Because I thought it was like the whole time I was just thinking how sad it was that.
Oh, it's very
like,
sad.
that
It's
his friend
very
didn't
sad.
even- Didn't realize what was going on.
It's horrifying, but there's really funny scenes. Come on, doing the Foley.
the Foley.
What are we doing? We're recording Foley. We're that's the scene. That's where when you're making a movie and you have like background characters that are talking, you need to record audio so that you hear them talking in the background, but you can
okay.
it gibberish stuff like in Skyrim, right? In Skyrim, you pass the guard and he's, "Oh there, traveler, did you hear about the news today?" And
Okay.
and you can just say anything you want. So this is doing Foley, and I'm doing old man. I'm doing old man walking with a change in his pocket. Okay. Okay, but why are
that
you?
was funny, yeah.
But if we're just doing audio, then why are you in your underwear? Look, okay.
Yeah, that was okay. But that's the thing. Like, it was the first part. There was a few things like that.
Yeah.
But then after that, like after they showed, and I thought it was interesting. Like his technique, like you're talking about, that he literally would go in and pretend to be a high schooler, and
He registered for high school so he could use their equipment. Yes.
yeah. Which is very, very interesting. But and then how he films the teacher saying something, and then. But then after they show the video and it's about them doing a shooting, I'm like, this is really sad to watch. That First off, they would want to do a video like that, and then secondly, that his friend wouldn't catch on that him talking about this is a real thing. So
well, that was the whole point of the movie.
I know.
The whole point was he never understood when his friend was being serious because his friend was constantly pretending like he was in a movie. And so when he presents the idea, he thinks he's joking. And they have that whole conversation on top of the cliff. Like, hey, I'm doing the thing from that I'm doing the karate scene from that one movie. Wouldn't it be so funny if I fell down the cliff? Wouldn't it be so funny if we actually did it for real? If we went in, said we're only here for the bad guys. It's an incredibly depressing film. It's a dark comedy.
It was. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I get that's why he made it, and for that purpose, I get I understand the movie, and it was definitely was hard to watch because you as a viewer can see what's happening, whereas you have the friend that obviously can't. But
what was that? Sorry, what was the name of that one guy that hit you with a rock? What was his name?
Yeah, right. That's the thing.
What was his name?
You're he's obviously making a list, and you're like, anyway. But it's kind of sad because I think there were things that could have been done to avoid that, obviously. But it was an interesting film to see how someone being bullied could, hypothetically, feel like they needed to do that, which is. Yeah. So anyway, it's just it was definitely a little darker. So that's the thing.
It's a very dark movie.
I got a little bit of the comedy at the beginning, but the rest was a lot less comedic. Operation Avalanche, though, I definitely could see as being more of maybe a comedy. Well, not a comedy, I guess. It's more of a.
It's a comedic drama.
Yeah. That one, I mean, there's still some drama, about them, what happens after the operation's a success, basically.
Yeah.
And that one I liked because it was definitely different, as far as the idea of what if we actually did fake the moon landing?
The moon landing, yeah.
Yeah, and why they may need to fake that, right? But I kind of talked about Operation Avalanche a lot.
Yeah.
The other time, I liked it, and it was an interesting movie to watch. Same with the first one. I'll admit, it was an interesting movie to kind of see. Okay, these are different perspectives.
Yeah,
but
I've said before, I think the most interesting part about that is knowing his filmmaking process and how he did it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, I agree. But then moving on to Blackberry. I think that it's an interesting story. It's definitely an interesting story. But
it's funny too.
What?
It's funny.
But that's the thing. I didn't laugh once. I didn't laugh.
Oh, I was laughing the whole time.
So I don't see why. That's the thing. I even watched an interview about how basically they're oh, the main guy that's bald. He's he wasn't really as funny as he thought he was, right? And I'm like, when did he think he was funny? Half the time he was yelling at people to get stuff done. I'm like, why is that funny that he just comes into the room and always tells them that they're effers and they need to get work done? I'm like, that was not funny. And then I think the story was interesting because it was about something that we knew was going to fail, right? So it was interesting to see that it wasn't a success story like we normally do see. like we see a lot of these movies in the, like, I mean, like even the Air Jordan, right? Like you're like, oh well, Air, everybody knows what Air Jordans are. It's obviously a success story because we all know
Yeah.
what those are. So
We
that
all
was
know, we all know what Blackberries are too, but
I really
Yeah.
liked Air, and I
Yeah.
thought Blackberry was a much better film.
I mean, it was good, and it was interesting to see kind of how it progressed, right? Where obviously,
yeah,
like
it's the downfall. It's
character has
the Greek tragedy,
where pride, obviously, and
the
greed,
compromise. Yeah,
yeah, they start to make these choices that they're trying to keep up with the supply, and because of that, they end up going against their values, right?
Mhm.
Like I get all that. Like that part I liked, and it was a good movie, a good story to tell that. But I definitely didn't think it was a comedy. I didn't laugh once, like I said, and
Well, it's primarily a drama.
yeah, and the other thing is like I don't know if I really like Matt Johnson's performance in it. To be honest, like
I loved it.
I think that he's like he kind of seems the same as in the other videos, and I'm like,
Yeah,
this is just a classic Matt, and it didn't feel like it was the character that it needed to be. I don't know.
I thought it was perfect. He's finds characters that are like him so that he can play himself.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it was, but I just feel like it was more of like, oh, I'm watching Matt again, and I
Yeah.
didn't necessarily want to watch Matt because he's the director, right? Like I wanted to see what the story he's telling, and I guess maybe I got distracted with just him trying to act in it, and I don't know. I don't know if that was the case, but that's what I was thinking about afterwards. I was like, I didn't really enjoy that one as much, and I wonder if it was because of his acting or because of his character or because of the story. I don't know. But to be honest, I didn't really enjoy that one as much.
And you liked Indiana Jones 5. No, it's fair. It's fair. He's definitely I don't know. Maybe I have rose colored glasses, but I've just loved everything that he's made.
They were very cinematic. Like I appreciated the filmography of it all.
I mean, the way that the movie is framed,
Yeah.
it's cyclical, right? Like it comes full circle. It starts with the humming, right, from Chinese manufacturing, and I love the quote. But, have you ever heard that perfect is the enemy of good? Yeah, well, good enough is the enemy of humanity.
Yeah, humanity.
Right? And he's like unwilling to compromise because he wants to make the perfect product, and then by the end you see the corruption and giving in, and to the peer pressure and corporate demands that he gives in, and then the final scene of the movie just breaks me with him just opening up all the boxes
and tweaking them all by himself,
and because they went with Chinese manufacturing, so he's going through opening every single phone and fixing the problems.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking. It's wonderful.
Yeah, like I would agree with that.
So I also like depressing things, though. So maybe that's, but
No, I mean, like that's the thing. It is an interesting story, and I did appreciate that. Like that
Mm-hmm.
circle, and in fact, I think that was a good way to end it too. Because it's all about how he decides to give in, and then he realizes that giving in ruined his product.
It destroyed everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really, I mean, that's why it failed, right?
Because he's like, look, the hen house.
Yeah.
I also love that. I mean, some of the dialogue is absolutely brilliant. He's like, I'm not going to let a fox into the hen house. He's like, well, what are foxes good at fighting off? The wolves, right? Or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I'm definitely misquoting it, right?
Yeah, but basically, like, hey, they're not just to kill the chickens; they're also to like keep away other predators, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and that's true. There were definitely some good lines in there, but I guess and maybe the other reason why I didn't like it as much is there was a lot more F words. Like there was a lot of cussing. The main bald guy, like every word that he said was the F word, and I was like, whoa, like let's stop yelling at him. Let's stop calling him that. And then he's always going behind their back and trying to sell more stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I mean, he played his character well. I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job with that. His character was well played, well acted, but just the character itself, maybe
he shaved his head for the role too.
I was gonna say it looked like that was probably either
he gave himself the horseshoe hair, he shaved it down. There's scenes where he on the Always Sunny podcast where he shows up like that, and he's like, I can't get rid of it yet because I'm still doing the movie, right? And then the second and then they did another episode where he finished and they just shaved his head bald. He's like, please get rid of this. We're gonna do it on camera,
Yeah. So I mean, I think overall, I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite movie. It was a good story. It was well acted. I'm not sure about Matt Johnson's role in it, but it was done. I mean, because he's supposed to play a goofy side character, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just
he was the voice of reason. He was the optimism that, and the film is about compromise, right? So he's only in the first half of the movie because you see his friend, shutting him out and choosing to go to the dark,
Yeah, and that's sad to see that happen. But I don't know. I don't know. So that's the thing. At this point, I'm like, I don't know. Is it Matt Johnson's acting that turned me off, or was it that specific character that just I wasn't enjoying him yelling at him all the time, or I don't know. But it just wasn't quite my favorite. I enjoyed the other ones a lot better because I felt like it was more focused on the story and not so much on the. I mean, there was a lot of language too in the first one.
In the Dirties, for sure.
Yeah, the Dirties, and I don't know if that's maybe why I didn't like it as much either, but because Matt Johnson swears a lot.
Yes, he
He's
does.
got a dirty mouth. It's excessive. Half the time, I'm dude, just try to say what you're trying to say without swearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I wish there was a little bit less swearing for sure. But I'm able to look.
You know what I would like to see?
I like the craft. He's too good at what he does.
He's really good at what he does. Yeah. But I would love to see a collaboration between Matt Johnson
you cut out
and Nathan Fielder.
Yeah.
Would that be awesome?
Well, because Matt Johnson,
because they're both out of the box.
More he's more of an introvert, so it's
they're also both from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they would balance each other out. They both have crazy ideas. I think it would be too much. I think it would be awesome. Too much. Just thinking what they could pull off together. I don't know.
Yes, they both kind of have a similar vein of just screwing with people and having the lawyers work it out later.
Yeah. But you're right. They both kind of like to be in control of their projects, so maybe I don't know, maybe they wouldn't work together well, but I just think it would be interesting to see what they could come up with putting those two brains together, But,
yeah, it might be interesting.
Anyway.
So did you watch the other ones, David? Oh wait, you said you haven't watched.
He didn't watch Blackberry.
Right?
No, I didn't watch Blackberry yet.
But you did watch the other two?
Get on it. No, I didn't watch the Dirties. I did Operation Avalanche.
Okay, well, what did you think of Operation Avalanche?
I liked it. I thought it was really
the Stanley Kubrick. The Stanley Kubrick stuff is so good.
Yeah, it was really good, and I thought it was. I mean, we've already talked about it, but I thought it was very realistic take on faking the moon landing. It was interesting in the way that he filmed it, in the way that he put it all together, and they're just wrapping it in the
it's a subversion.
We have to root out these spies.
It's simultaneously a subversion of the moon landing narrative and also the conspiracies surrounding the moon landing narrative. Like it makes fun of both of them. And presents a scenario where you honestly think like, I don't know if that did happen, but it definitely could have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Super cool. And I'm just on pins and needles waiting for them to release all of the TV show.
Nirvana, that sounds really intriguing to me.
It is very, very funny. And I sent you a link. You can watch it for free. But I would pay money for this. You can't find it anywhere. Nirvana the band, the show is so funny. Mm-hmm. The first episode is there is a gag where they show a picture of nudity, but it's not like real. It's obviously fake. But it's that's the gag. That's the joke. It's so clever. Watch Matt Johnson's movies. He's an amazing filmmaker.
Yep.
They're not for everybody, If you like watching movies where they destroy legacy characters, you might not enjoy his movies as much, But hey, if you also didn't like Indiana Jones 5, you might like Blackberry.
Interesting.
Angels in the Outfield.
I remember those.
Yeah.
It's a Disney movie, but it's not on Disney Plus. It's one of the ones. Angels in the Outfield. There's several classic Disney movies that aren't on Disney Plus, but the main offenders are Angels in the Outfield and Now You See Him, Now You Don't. Those two are my freaking favorite ones growing up. Not on Disney Plus. I've emailed them several times since its launch. No word. Sucks. Love those movies.
Hey. Watch Operation Avalanche is all I can say. I think you'll like the movie. It's a historical fiction documentary.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's a found footage historical fiction documentary. It's wild.
Yeah.
So super, super good. I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say other than I'm excited to read Brandon Sanderson's Secret Project #3, and the good thing that I'm watching right now is I'm finally getting around to finishing watching Attack on Titan. We talked about anime a couple episodes back,
Nice.
and how it's way better than physics. The problem is saying anime is just like a way too sweeping a word, right?
Yeah.
That's like saying animation, right? Like there's good animation and there's bad animation, right? There's Pixar, there's old Pixar and there's new Pixar, right? So when someone asks, do you watch anime? It's a very loaded question because that could mean very, very, very different things. But because there's so much of it, it can be hard to find some good stuff, but there is really, really good anime out there. And I just finished season 3 of Attack on Titan, and it blew my freaking mind. Like season 1 is great, and then season 2 it gets like, oh, interesting, and then season 3, is great. It was just jaw dropping. Mark Clark, thanks for the $2. Don't spoil the Sanderson book for me. Well, I've only read the first chapter, so I won't spoil it. We'll definitely do a stream talking about it. But
we generally give thoughts
warning.
about what we liked about it, but I think we're going to do a more in-depth spoiler discussion after all four secret books have been out, right?
Yeah.
So I think in the previous ones we haven't really gone into a whole lot of spoilers.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I got to finish.
I'm gonna plan. I'm gonna try and plan a bunch of.
I'm reading.
I'm gonna try and plan a bunch of stuff around Dragonsteel too, some live streams and collaborations, and hopefully my album will be done by then. I have some updates this week. I've got a lot of stuff done.
Sweet.
And
Dude, I also I started listening to Going Postal. That was a pretty good one.
Going Postal, baby.
Yeah.
One of my favorite books.
Terry Pratchett's
all
so
time.
good. He's really good writer.
Is this your first Pratchett book?
No, I read Good Omens too, which was technically Pratchett, but it was also Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And wait, is he the one that does Hitchhiker's Guide?
No.
Okay, I was like, for some reason,
very similar. It's the same type of humor, but in a fantasy setting instead of space.
Yeah.
And he doesn't hate himself.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more optimistic than
what's Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams.
Oh, that's right. It's Douglas. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, Going Postal is good for sure. So I would second Alan's recommendation to read that one.
Super good.
Yeah, that's on my list. Got a lot of stuff to read. I also, Mark recommended the Myth Adventure series, and I mentioned before that I read the first book. There was a sale on Audible. It was like buy one get one get one free or something, but they were also really, really cheap. So I picked up the first 10 books in that series.
Great.
So I hope to read through those too. So or listen to them. But
yep.
Yeah.
And then you've also been reading the Lightbringer series, which Jared has been trying to get me to read for a long time. So
it's really really good. We'll have to do a discussion on that. I need to finish. I'm on the 5th book. I'm about a quarter way through, so I need to finish that and then read the Sanderson book.
It was on my list to read eventually, but it wasn't next. But since you're reading it, I've moved it up. I'll read it next so that we can all talk about Lightbringer too.
Oh well, the problem is if we do that one too, we should bring on my brothers too because they loved it.
Oh yeah,
for sure,
dude.
Like Tim loved that book. So anyway,
to talk about season 2 of the
Wheel of Time. Yeah.
So that's just about it, though. I'm going to be reading Lightbringer. I'm going to read Brandon Sanderson first, and then I'll go because it's quick. It's a quickie. And then I'll go into Lightbringer.
Yeah.
Next week. Oh yeah. Next week we're talking about Secret Invasion episode 3 and The Sound of Freedom.
Yes,
which
I'm
is
excited to see that.
It's the movie that Fox made, and when they were acquired by Disney, it was done, and all Disney needed to do was just release it. But then they read the plot summary, and it's about saving kids from predators, and Disney said, "Nah, we don't want that movie," and so they threw it out, and it was acquired by Angel Studios, which they have their streaming platform where they're doing like The Chosen and stuff, but they're not sending it directly to their streaming platform because they want people to see it. So it's being sent to theaters. I don't think it's like a full release, but it's a fairly wide release, at least in the United States, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And there's currently, if you buy your tickets in the next 2 days, this is not a promotion, right? I'm not sponsored to say this. If you buy your tickets through Fandango, the next 2 days, you can get a buy one get one free.
Yep.
You have to have the promo code, which I had it pulled up and now it's gone. Is that close?
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I believe it's the same story. They did a documentary a couple of years ago called Operation Underground Railroad, I think is what it was called, and it was so good and heartbreaking and just really impactful. And this whole dramatized, rendition of it looks so amazing. They've got awesome actors.
It's a 2 million
to do it. So
if you use the promo code 2 million on Fandango, just the number 2 and then the word million. So not
number 2 million.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that one.
Can you imagine? Really being Disney, being handed the film. No, we can't support that.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's Disney. So I can't imagine. And I will probably also be watching Asteroid City because I've wanted to see that for a while. And we might have a guest on next week because she also wants to talk about Asteroid City, and it's going to be a surprise.
Cool beans.
So, you guys have anything else? I'm good. I'm done.
Good here.
Yep.
2.5 hour stream. That's baby. That's tight. That's a tight 2.5 hours. That's shorter than Indiana Jones. And hopefully it's been a lot more entertaining. So see you guys. We'll see you next week. Go watch Sound of Freedom and go support not Disney.
Yep. Bye.
It's a show about saving kids from.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.